Ooh-wee. Well, if you want to, brother, we'll rock and roll. Is there anything
Yeah.
that anything like at the start right now that you want to like say? Anything you want to shout out? Anything like that?
Um, I mean, I think I said it on. I think it was. There's another channel like commented and I put your guys' name out there. Like I just think right now we're in this like golden age of content creating for cEDH because like people are just coming out with more and more stuff.
Hmm.
And I think that you guys are a big part of that. Like it's so nice to see people who are like it seems like they're genuinely excited about the game. It seems like they want to be a part of it and they want to put out more content and be good influences at the same time. And it's just nice to see. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. That's all.
Heck, heck yeah, man. Thank you. No, I've
Yeah.
that's been one of the I think one of the like most refreshing things about putting out content was like it in certain like other spaces that I've worked in or like because I've made content and like other stuff just for like work related stuff like I have my own business so like I'm constantly like putting out content and you'll
Right.
sometimes reach out to like other people in the space or like creators and it feels like in the business sense like sometimes it can feel a little hostile because people they're obviously like they're competing for a lot of like the same eyeballs and the same attention and like people's dollars but in this space like
Right.
it feels like it's been like the total opposite like I can go and talk to somebody and they are just so cool like they're willing to talk about cdh, they're willing to like help you grow and you help them grow like however you can, and so like it's just been super
Yeah.
fun to like be able to get in the space and like dive deeper into it and then also like meet so many cool people in the community. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I think that it's very apparent, like that you guys do. It feels like you guys are having fun, which is nice. You know, that's just a huge part of it.
I feel like I do feel bad sometimes because like we'll film a couple of episodes like back to back to back, and so by the time we're on
Mhm.
like our third recording, I'm just over here like so dead. I'm like, oh, and Chase, Chase is
I
over
must
here
say, you
like,
guys put out a lot of content, man. And I'm like, Jesus, they're just keep showing stuff out. Like, good for them, but like, God bless. Like,
dude, yeah. Well, me and Chase, so we started originally. We were just putting out the podcast episode each week, and that started back in
mhm,
like January. I think like we recorded our first episode in December, and it took me a while to like learn how to do like DaVinci and all the other stuff. But I figured it out. I started putting out. We put out the episode, and then our goal was like just one podcast a week, and like just stick with that. And then eventually we got to a point where we were doing the gameplay, and so then it was podcast and
mhm.
gameplay. And then next thing you know, we like look up and we're putting out like four pieces of content a week. And I told Chase, I was like, hey man, this might be a little much. Like, let's try to set a goal of like three. Like, that's a
That's
good.
still a lot, though.
It is. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Like, it is a ton. And I was like, let's just say, like, we're going to aim for like three. If we do two, that's fine. But three is like what we'll shoot for. I was like, I love you and I enjoy having you over at my house, but I can't have you at my house every single day. Like I do.
Right, right. Like, it's like okay, like I need a weekend, bro. Like I
Yeah.
need a weekend.
No,
It's
but
actually really funny because like even the stuff that you made just recently about like making your deck more like Blue Farm, right?
mhm,
It I felt like the topic of it was just so like, huh. That's a very interesting way to think about deck building because Blue Farm is the best deck. Like it's
mhm,
not even like a question anymore. It subjectively is. But like just looking at your deck and I literally like in my comment, I was mowing the lawn when I was listening to it. And I'm like, okay, he makes this point. I think that's true here. I think that's true here. Like, I think that's a very interesting like thing that he's talking about here. And then there's other things where I'm like, I don't agree with that. And this
mhm,
is how I would retort. But I see where they're coming from. And it felt much more like I was at the table, like just listening to a good conversation. I'm like, I think we need more of that. Because there's so much out there where it's like, I'm I'm big me and you know, I know it all. And so listen to what I say. And it's like, oh, okay. Like I don't always agree with it, but
mhm.
sure.
Heck yeah. Well, dude, that was something that was driving me nuts anyway. Like I had that like idea in my head and I wasn't sure if that was right. Like I'm always willing to take criticism. I like obviously I'm not going and like just a world beater at CDH. Like I think everybody's got room to grow and improve. Like even if you're taking
Oh
no
yeah.
offense, like you can always get better. But I'm willing
100%.
I'm willing to learn and take things from anybody that's like willing to share it. And I'm also willing to be wrong. Like I think that too many people people will point out and say, "Hey, I don't necessarily agree with that," and they almost like have that pushback. But I'm willing to be like, "Okay, like this is what I'm thinking." And then if somebody goes, "No, you're wrong. Trouble in Paris is a good card," I'm willing to be like, "Okay."
Whoever said that's a jerk, though. Like, let's be real. But like, it's so funny that you say that because like, it, it it's mind-boggling to me sometimes that like, even if you don't agree with a take that someone has, right? But they have like a good set of points.
Mhm,
You can sit there and say, "I hear you. I understand that. I don't agree with X, Y, and Z, but I see where you're coming from, and that actually helps your perspective on a card, right?"
mhm,
So like, again, I heard so much pushback on trouble pairs for ever in Dargo, and I'm like, look, I hear you guys. I hear what you're saying. I hear your complaints. Like I hear what you're trying to say about like it's not fast enough and all that. But like here's why I'm still going to do this. But your points are valid,
mhm,
and that's okay. And like and I think there's just this disconnect in society right now. Of like it's okay to say, you know what, I disagree, and that's okay. Like we're done. Like that's we're okay to not agree on that.
mhm.
But people think no, you have to agree to get along. Like no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yep.
So.
Well, I feel like that's kind of like what you were saying. Like it feels like there always has to be, like you said, like for something to be right, something else has to be wrong. When in reality, like
Right.
there's so much gray area here in between,
Mhm,
where like we
mhm,
probably all operate a little more in that gray area. Like it's very rarely do you see situations that are like total this or like total this. Like you learn a lot about a person by like where they kind of land on this on that spectrum of like I feel
mhm,
like you always have to have that little bit of like you have to offer that wiggle room up. And so like it just is what it is, man. Like I I think that that's one of the fun things about this format anyways is like because it is such a social format, like you have to get around so many different people. I feel like if
mhm,
you're truly doing what you should to like if you're truly like getting around a lot of people, hearing them out, it can really I don't know, it just helps you like grow as a person. Like you start to get around more people and like I said, you become more informed about different people, different opinions, different culture, different all these different things. And then it just helps you grow as
mhm,
a person. And like I feel like some people operate in this like just small little, I guess like echo chamber. Like they want to sculpt the world the way that they want it and they're not willing to like be moldable or like pliable at all. And so I think that
yeah.
this I think in order to be a part of this community and like actually like get the most out of it, you have to be able to be a little bit pliable. You know what I mean?
Well, you also, I mean, to even be successful, right? Like,
Hmm.
if I stuck with the first version of this deck since I built it, it would look wildly different from what it is now. It'd be
Hmm.
unplayable almost, right? So, like, I just think that if you're not adapting and you're not growing, then you're stagnant
Hmm.
in something that you're competing with other people. So like I tell this to my wrestlers all the time. I'm like, if you're being stagnant, it means your opponents are getting closer to you, which
Hmm.
means you're actually falling behind.
Mm.
Like people ahead of you are getting farther, people behind you are getting closer. That's a negative on both ends. You have to keep moving forward. So
This is about to go down a total like rabbit hole. So, do you coach wrestling?
I do.
That's
Yeah.
sick, dude. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, dude. Used to. I didn't. I was not like athletic at all growing up, like at all. And then whenever I finally got into high school, like I was a really big dude, and so finally I decided like I needed to get into a sport, and so I started wrestling.
Mhm.
And oh my
Mm.
it was so fun, dude. And so now I still like
Oh,
I do a
dude.
lot of like like combat sports like grappling, jiu-jitsu, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that's so
Mhm.
awesome. Heck yeah.
Oh, dude, I mean, okay, so my daughter's now just a little over 1,
Hmm.
and I keep telling everyone in our family, I'm like, "She is going to do boxing, and she's going to do a little grappling. She doesn't have to stay with it forever, but she's gonna know how to handle herself," because I feel like there's a different mentality for people who know how to handle themselves and
Oh
who
yeah.
have done that kind of stuff, like, just approaching, problems, approaching conflict, approaching challenges. People that do MMA and people who have done combat sports, it's just different.
It is.
It's
Well,
just different.
well, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, even here, but like you're essentially like stress testing yourself. Like you're introducing small, intentional like little doses of like stress into your day to day that then
Mhm.
help you handle like the stresses that life are throwing at you. Whereas like
Yeah.
if you just completely like avoid all of it, one day like it does hit you in the face and you're like, I am not prepared for this. So I think it's
Oh
the
yeah,
same way.
yeah. It's like the old saying though, like the knight in shining armor. I want the knight that has a little bit more rust on his armor because he's been through a battle or two.
That is
So
very fair. That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, dude. I didn't know you did wrestling and MMA. That's dope.
Yeah, dude.
That's
That's
dope.
actually how I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's why I've got this little like nice little knot on my eye. It's just a lipoma, like just fatty tissue. But I was shooting a
Uh-huh.
takedown on somebody and I got kneed in the face, and so now I just have this forever.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Gotta keep your head up, bro. You gotta keep your head up when
I
you shoot in
know.
like that.
I know, dude. It was it is it's yeah, yeah. Well, and see, and thankfully things like that I learned my lesson because whenever they said, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't do that again," it's like a constant reminder now.
You're like, yeah, bro. I will not. I will not do that. Make that mistake again. Yeah.
Heck yeah. No, dude, that was oh my gosh. I used to shoot out from like and I know this is going like again off the rails, but I would shoot
Yeah.
from like literally no man's land, like way too far. I would never even like get in close enough to like start instigating like some kind of
Oh,
a hand fight or
jeez. You
like a
want
head
to?
fight. And then after that, I learned my lesson. I was like, okay, I actually have to like learn how to hand fight. I have to like, use your head like post frame, beat the hands, beat the head, like get to the hips. So like it
Oh,
just
dude. See, I was always the opposite. I'm a thrower. So
oh,
like,
okay.
I like getting underhooks. I like getting my head right in your temple. Like I like my head positioning. Like I'll block you with my head before I do any sprawling, kind of thing. And like my wrestlers get really pissed off because like they'll talk about like hand fighting stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's why you always like headbutting me." I'm like, "I'm not headbutting you. I'm just posting with my head positioning." And they're like, "Yeah, it's annoying. Don't do that." I'm like, "Okay, well,
Dude,
that's how you're supposed to do it."
the worst feeling in the world is whenever you have somebody that's like we have a couple of guys at our gym that like they shave their heads and then like that moment where you get the stubble and then some dude's
Yeah.
just like shoving his face
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
face.
You're like, oh, it's like sandpaper on your face. You're like, stop, stop.
Heck yeah.
Like,
No,
ref, that's so rad.
dude, I swear I've been telling people forever. I think that the arm drag is like a superpower. Like if you have somebody that has no idea, like they have no idea what they're doing, like they come in and you hit an arm drag, it literally feels like you just did something illegal. Like it is a superpower.
So funny story. That's actually the first takedown I ever learned
Really.
was the arm drag. Yeah. And then I got to a point where I would be hand fighting and stuff, and I would let them grab my wrist, and I'd use the hand that they have on my wrist to then arm drag them, and they're like, "Wait, what?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you're not safe. You're just not safe."
It's such good bait, dude. It's so good.
Especially because like in a like I don't know what weight class you wrestled at, but like I wrestled at 140.
Really.
So like yeah, so I'm 5'8" on a good day,
Hmm.
and I'm wrestling dudes who are like 5'10" and 6 foot, and I'm like, how do I get their arms to not post on me? I'm like, oh, there we go. Like
See,
now we
dude,
got it. Like then they start T-Rexing their arms.
I was the polar opposite. Like whenever I got into wrestling, I'm trying to think. I think I was like 15 or 16, I think. But I was big, dude. I
Mhm.
like when I first started wrestling, I was 380.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was a big boy. So like I would like I tried to just muscle everything and like even then like I was not
Mhm.
an athletic 380. Like I'm five
Right.
seven on a good day, So like I'm not an
Right.
athletic 380. I'm just like I'm trying to muscle stuff and there's these guys that are like way smaller than me. They're way stronger than me because they've actually been wrestling. And yeah, dude, I was just
Hmm.
getting bodied. And so eventually I had to learn to like use better technique. And I think that that has definitely
Hmm.
helped me at least because like I move well for my size. Like it always throws people off because I will move well for my size, but it's because I was so big that now like I can
Right.
move a lot easier. But yeah, dude, I
Right.
was a big boy when I got into it. And then now doing jujitsu, it's so nice. Like having takedowns in your bag and then also learning like the submission piece to it. It's just so nice, man. Like there will be times where same thing like arm drags and other stuff. Like you just get to the back and it makes everything so much nicer. Like some people are not going to tap to pain compliance, but a choke's a choke. Like
Yeah. Yeah. No error is no error. Like no matter how you cut it. Like well, it's so funny because every time I've gone to a little jujitsu gym, which isn't much, but like a couple times, uh, like I get the takedowns, no problem. On my
yeah,
feet, untouchable. But then like I get to the ground, I'm like, okay, now what? Like I have no idea what I'm doing from here. Sorry, man. Like, and like they'd have to like work with me a little bit, but like especially guys who are really good
hmm,
are they're so good at like just posting on like your hip with their foot or something like that, and like just shuts down passes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, like I can get you to your back, but like that's about all I
yeah.
can do at this point, man. Like,
Well, that's the thing that's tough too. Like you'll get guys that are like they have like such good bases, like like as wrestlers they have such good bases that it's hard to off balance them like one way or another. And so you end up like if you get taken down before you take them down, it's gonna either just be like a scramble fest and you're just gonna like get exhausted, or you're trying to like sweep them. Like a lot of what I'll go for is like shoulder crunch type stuff. So like getting the hands, like
Mhm,
crushing the shoulder in, like one foot on a hip or like a butterfly hook, like rotate the hips. But they just have
mm,
such good bases that it is so hard. So like a lot of times I just end up in like a weird like almost like swimming through and like getting an underhook wrestling up to like a single leg or trying to like circle to the back. But yeah,
mm.
dude, it's so hard. Like it's so hard to sweep a wrestler. Like you immediately know. So like, and then same thing. If they're a better wrestler than you, it's just a nightmare. So like, you just have to be kind of
Oh, yeah.
sneaky and the first time they come in, you'll hit like a couple of guillotines or something, and then they
Right.
get keyed
They're like,
keen to
"Okay,
like how
no
to defend
mas."
it, and then it's a nightmare. They're a nightmare from then on out.
Yeah, they're like, "Okay, we're done with that now." We're like, "Oh, well, I was doing so good."
Dude, that's so
Let
good
me
though.
do it
That's
again.
so cool. I love that's the one thing I love about the martial arts community though is like it's the same thing like we were just talking about or like CDH, but you literally meet somebody that's in the community and it's just like immediate respect. You're like, oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely it's a different kind of, there's a different kind of just, like, nod,
Yeah.
like, we
Yeah.
know kinda thing.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, going into good old Dardu, I did write down a
Okay.
couple of questions, but is there anything that
Yeah.
like you want to say about the deck before we like start diving into just like other stuff?
No, I mean, like, what we could do is just, you already have, some questions. I'll answer those. We can either do that and then, like, go over mulligans if you want,
Yeah.
or, like, whatever. It's your show, it's your thing, whatever you wanna do, man. I'm just here for good talks.
Fair enough, brother. Now, okay, one of the things that I did think was awesome, and this is before obviously like diving into like all the Dargo Tymna stuff. I did look, so I was looking through your primer, and I saw like your history of like the decks you were playing before you eventually got to Dargo Tymna. And so I
Mhm,
saw it was like Winota, and then you got to like the Murder Bird, which was Jessica Ishai, right?
mhm,
Perfect.
mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then Dargo Thras, and then eventually Dargo Timna. What was it like the progression from like going through all those decks? Like what led you to each of those as like the next step, I guess.
So, I started with Winota because I was playing a lot of casual at the
Hmm.
time. Like, I've been playing casual since, like, 2007, 2008, give or take, and, like, I was doing that, and I wasn't having a good time with casual because, like, I would get in these games and, like, my thing was I like value engines and synergies,
Hmm.
and I didn't wanna spend a lot of money, and, like, I was notoriously, like, I will spend maybe $150, $200 on, like, a completed deck,
Hmm.
and I'll still do well, and my buddies would, like, just be shelling out money. I'm like, "What's a cheap cEDH deck?" And it was Winota,
Hmm.
and so I started building that, and then I was like, "Well, gosh, like, this is kinda cool, but, like, I guess." And I had some other cards like Ristic Study and like a Mystical War and stuff like that, like just in my collection somewhere. I'm like, what's another thing? And I have a lot of red white cards now. Like,
Hmm.
what's another thing I can add to that? And then I was like, what's a deck that like can just come out of nowhere and punch someone in the mouth and win a game? I'm like, oh, Murder Bird, punch in the mouth, perfect. Like, do that. Um, and then this was right after Freedom Waffle won on Dark Thrusters. I didn't know what Mox Masters was. I didn't know any of that.
Hmm.
And I had a buddy who actually is the same guy who got me onto Dargo Tymna. And he's like, maybe you should try Dargo Thrasios. I'm like, why? He's like, it's just really cool. You should try it. And I'm like, okay. So I tried it. First tournament I take it to, top 16. Okay. Next tournament I bring it to, top four.
Ooh.
Okay. Next tournament I bring it to, win the whole thing. I'm like, oh, so this is the shit right here. Like, this is dope. And then I started like watching like Mox Masters and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is the deck that guy played. Like, okay, okay. Like it started to get a little bit more popularity. And then I go over to his house and I'm like testing out different things. I'm playing like little Rocco, little Sisse, just like on the side. And he comes up with Dargo Timna. I'm like, oh, I know what Dargo does. That's fine. And he cooks me like 5 times, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" Like, I know Dargo decks, like, I've been playing this now. I know the loops, except for, like, I don't have Ruthless, but, like, the concept is all there. What are you doing? Like, why are you so fast and efficient with this? He's like, "This is, like, the truth." I'm like, "Really? Why?" He's like and he was the one who told me, which is really funny because he's a super, like, big control player now.
Hmm.
He's like, "Blue's a crutch, dude. If you want to learn how to play this game like really well, cut blue from your decks." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Play this deck." So I start playing it, and I'm like, this deck is so much fun because it's not just this cookie cutter. Here's a Thoracle. Here's a Risk Study Tutor every time. Here's this every time. Like it's just there's gotta you gotta find other ways to get there.
Mhm.
And I loved it. And then I ended up bringing it to Mox Masters, like not long after that. Took fifth. Um, was pretty sad about that game because it was a top 16 game and Wounded was on Kinnan and he had like Seedborn and the One Ring out and on like four counters and I placed a Grand Abolisher and the 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 Tivit just goes uh there's a mono red deck and a Tivit deck and they're like blow up some of your stuff and I'm like that's fine whatever like I'm gonna cast Dargo and sacrifice like who cares and then he's like silence and I'm like Wounded's gonna draw like 12 cards before it gets to you. And he's like, yeah, doesn't matter. And then Wounded ended up winning. Like, obviously, like you can't do that with against Kin. Um, but like, kind from there, I was like, okay, like this deck is kind of fun, and I started playing it off and on. I again went back to Rocco and Sisei for a little bit, and I just kept coming back to this deck, and I just like, gosh, like, every time I don't play this deck, I feel like I'm just not having as much fun, and I just
Mhm.
kept coming back to it. And then after the bans happened, I was like, dude, this deck is dead. Like Dockside was kind of necessary, and so was Jewel Lotus, so was Mana Crypt. And then Comedian had a video where someone said something about Dargo, like where it's on the tier list. He's like, Dargo decks are dead. I'm like,
Yep.
oh fuck that shit, dude. Like I'm done. No, 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 no. Like no, 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 no. Like I can't do that. I can't sit there. I will not take the slander. Like, I will not. And like and so I started brewing a little bit because there's also people in the Dargo Discord who are like, no, dude, I'm like, we're still like doing pretty well. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do with this. And it actually came to the point where I was like, because we took out so many of the Dockside cards and like the reliance on Dockside, where every game was okay, tutor for Dockside, and then does Dockside resolve? Yes or no? Like yes, okay, I'm gonna start doing stuff. No, okay, then I did nothing. Like that's the play pattern is exactly the same. And I was like, huh, like we can actually do some more interesting things. It might not be as fast, but I'm okay with that, you know. So I just kept rolling with it.
Heck yeah, dude. That's so good. I remember like the I didn't I found Dargo Tuna. It was like right before you won the Land Go event because like we
Hmm.
I had I don't know if you know the channel or not, but Celestial Winter Gaming.
Yeah, I know them.
Yep. So
I play with Matt and Logan and them like all the time, like every day.
nice, dude. Heck yeah. Okay, so I actually took like I saw Dargo Timna, and I was the same way. I had no idea what Dargo did. I was like, I had seen the card, and I was like, why the heck are people running this like 7 mana commander in the command zone? Like this just seems
This is
like
dumb.
trash. Yeah, I was like, this is terrible. Which again, I was still I'm even kind of new to like CDH. Like I've been playing specifically cEDH. I got into Commander like many years ago, but then I didn't start actually like playing cEDH regularly until probably like last October, November, I think,
Okay,
roughly.
sure.
And so I was still just kind of new. I'm learning all these like combos and these cards and everything, and I'm like, this guy like I don't understand what this is. And he played Dargo Timna on the channel and just cooks these guys. Like I mean, it was just so nice watching. And I was like,
Mhm.
what just happened? Like I was so confused and I didn't understand because he does the combo and I was like, I don't understand. He's like, we got there, yes. And then the video ends, and I'm like, you can't leave me hanging like this. I need to know what this deck
What do
does.
you mean
So
you got there? Where is there? Where
yeah,
where are we
yeah.
now?
So I went and I just pulled his list up and I started going through all the combos and I'm reading everything and I'm reading Dargo and I'm like, oh, and it starts to like kind of make sense. And I was like, dude, I'm printing this list out. I'm gonna try this. And it was so fun, dude. The first time you pull off a Dargo combo, it is nothing like a Thassa's Oracle,
Oh, dude. I will say, man, with this deck, and I've been playing this deck now for like 2 years.
Mhm.
Every win feels better than a blue farm win. Like
Oh,
I
dude.
played blue farm just to try it out, like just to feel how things were, and like trying out different decks because it's just for practicing. Every win in this deck has felt better than every win I got in that deck. And I'm like, it feels so good.
Dude, and the thing is like it's crazy just how like you were I noticed like and I'll definitely want to get into that too. But like I noticed you had said in your primer like people that play like Jessica Dex, because I've played Jessica Dex. Like one of my favorite deck. I love Jessica Ishai too. So like I kind of went through that same
Mhm.
thing. I just skipped the Dargo Thrasios. Like I played Winota and I like the deck, but because I mean everybody that starts to get into CDH, they think like, oh,
Yeah,
stacks, like that's great. And then
yeah, it's good.
yeah,
Why doesn't everyone do that? It's like, well,
yeah,
okay, we figured out
yeah,
why.
yeah. I'm like in the zone. I'm cooking. Like I'm feeling so good. I've got the board stacked out, and somebody drops a deluge, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of the game now. Okay, and
Yeah, exactly.
I eventually found Jessica Ishai and I played that and it was so fun. And also like just pulling off a Jessica win feels great. Pulling off like Ishai commander damage, like you're dead, it's so good. And then eventually when I saw the Dargo Tymna deck, I was thinking like, oh, what if I did like Dargo Thrasios? Because again, I wanted blue. And so I was looking at
Mm,
Dargo Thras and then I kept looking at Dargo Tymna and I was like, I don't have a Mardu list, and I don't really like Teamer like all that much. Like I'm not against it, but I'm not a huge Teamer fan. So I was like, okay. I
sure.
was like, I think I'm gonna play the Dargo Tymna, and oh, dude, it's so good. But like even like you were talking about with Kennen, it's just so funny how this deck can just it's just so resilient. Like you put a win attempt, they stop it. You're like, that's fine. You put another win attempt, they stop it. You're like, that's fine, and you just continue to go and go and go. And like I was sitting there even yesterday. I decided because I knew that I wanted to eventually like chat with you. So I was like, I need to like get some more reps in with this deck just for fun. And like yesterday,
Yeah.
I won against it was I know like two of the decks and there was like a Kennen and a TNT, and like this whole interaction starts where like they're fighting over the Kennen's trying to remove. He's in the middle of like trying to tutor, and like an op agent comes out, and like this whole fight starts, and I'm just sitting over here, and I'm like, it's not my job to deal with this. Like I'm just gonna let y'all do your thing.
You know, yeah, you're sitting there eating your popcorn like, damn, that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that resolves past priority.
Eventually, yeah, eventually, eventually a whole breaker horror comes down, and the TNT player is like, "You're just gonna let him have a whole breaker horror?" And I'm like, because I think I had Pyroblast in my hand, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's fine." And he's like, "What? Are you crazy?" Like, because I mean, he's fully tapped out. Kennen's tapped out. TNT,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, had like fully tapped out, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm cool with it." And like Kennen's got like two cards in hand. I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I just like I'd go to my turn, I drop a curse mirror, and then I just proceed. I had the sack Alice, I had Goblin Bombardment, but I didn't have any way to make infinite mana. So I just like immediately clone the Hull Breaker, make infinite mana, and then just like start casting the Dargo and sacking it to the Goblin and just like just killing the table. And they're like, "What just happened?" And I'm like, "I can show you if it makes you feel bad. Like I'll go a little slower." And but every time somebody sees a Dargo in for the first time, they're just like, that doesn't.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. Like, why is he costing one
Yes.
mana?"
Oh, dude, it's funny because like even in like tournaments now, like and like people that I know have been playing for a while, they're like, how what does Dargo do again? I'm like, it costs two less. He's like, and like they'll call a judge over, like, what about commander attacks? I'm like, two less is two less. Like he sees himself get sacked,
Mhm.
and like the judge will be like, yeah, it's been that way forever. Like, are there any other questions? Nope. Anyways, proceed to sack. Like, like do my thing. And it's so funny because like people, and I still get this all the time, where people will be like, "Oh no, the relic's out. He just needs a Bergie to win." I'm like, "Yeah, Bergie, correct." Like, it's not Bergie. It's not, because that's just doubling up on the same event. But I'm like, "Yes, you better hope I don't have that Bergie in my hand." So, anyways, Goblin Bombardment. They're like, "Yeah, that resolves." I'm like, okay, perfect. Now I'll start doing my thing. They're like, "Oh, that was the piece." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the piece, man." Like,
Well, it's so
uh,
fun. It's so funny how often Goblin Bombardment will just like totally dodge a Swan Song because somebody's like waiting on like a breach or they're waiting on like a
mhm,
Ristic, and you'll be like, "Goblin
mhm.
Bombardment," and they're like, "Yeah, no, that's totally fine." And then you'll cast like Relic, and they're like, "Ah, Swan Song. Oh yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah."
Like that was. It's actually, and I love when people like will go, "Okay," or like, and I'll even pause because like I just expect people to know it by now. I'm just like, "Relic?" They're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Yawgmoth?" They're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay." Like, "Yeah, you pass it, but okay." Like, "Do this," and they're like, "Yeah, what happens next?" I'm like, "Then I'm gonna do it again." Like, "You can't do it again." I'm like, "Okay, well, I can, and here's why." And then they're like, "Oh, like what was my like?" And I'll always tell people if we're just in like pickup games and stuff like that, they'll ask like, "Was that the point of interaction?" Like, yeah, like
Mhm.
this is like, or they're like discussing, and if it's like taking up too much time. I'm like, guys, this is the thing you need to counter. Like now it's a problem. But
Mm,
it's also a good way to politic because you'll be like, Relic of Legends are like, oh no. I'm like, dude, that's not a problem until you see this card, or this card. Then you have an issue. And
mhm,
they're like, oh, okay. But then it gets down and they don't realize how much mana production that is.
yeah.
So, or like the Goblin Bombard will come out and like, well, you don't have any like you don't have anything to produce mana? Like, no, that's it. But I will sack this Impulsive Pilferer to then get this and then this and then this. And they're like, oh my yeah. Like there's still value in it.
So
So
good, dude. It's so good. No, so that is something that I wanted to ask you about though. So like
sure.
you I know like I said, you had said that you look at like Jessica as an outlet, which makes sense, like it is an outlet. But then
Mhm,
you look at Dargo and like Rograk as like batteries. What do you
mhm.
I guess like just for people, like what do you mean whenever you say that? Like outlet versus battery and like how does that work for your deck?
Sure. So an outlet is like okay, so like Dargo Thrasios, right? The outlet is I'm producing a ton of mana with Dargo with doing a loop. Okay, sure. What's the outlet? Where does this mana go to? It goes to Thrasios.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, I produced infinite mana with a Gorger loop. Where does it go? It goes into casting Jessica a billion times. Okay. Dargo isn't meant to be like I'm casting Dargo a billion times to then pump it into Dargo. Dargo is enabling you to produce a ton of mana and gain resources and use resources as like as the win con. So Rograk is in the same way. Like people play Rograk and Rogside and stuff like that. Like why is Rogside so popular? Because you play Rograk, play a land, culling the weak. It's a sacrifice outlet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this like it was used to either turn on your Fierce Guardianship and your Deflecting Swat and your Deadly Relic, or it was used to sack it for mana. The only difference is that Dargo can do that over and over and over again if you set up the right board, whereas Rockrak is I do it once or twice tops in a game, and then you're done because it costs 2 mana every time you do it
Mm-hmm.
more, and then 4 mana. Whereas Dargo, when you keeps doing the sacking, stays at 1 mana, and because it stays at that 1 mana, you're able to abuse that ability.
Mm-hmm. No, that definitely makes
Yes.
sense. So like now how did you how did you specifically like build your deck to utilize Dargo as a battery?
So you have a lot of stuff like sacrifice. You have stuff like burnt offering. You have culling the weak again. You have Bergie, and you have relic of legends. Those are like the four big ones,
Mm-hmm.
or five big ones that you can do. Much like Rograk, and I say this in my primer too. Like, and it's kind of a hot take that Dargo is better than Rograk as a card, and everyone goes like, "Whoa, that's crazy," because Rograk comes out turn one, like blah blah blah. Like, great, like past turn one and maybe turn two. What does Rograk do better than Dargo?
Mm,
Literally nothing.
yeah.
Like, well, I can sack it to Culling the Week. I can sack Dargo to Culling the Week. All right. I can sack Rograt to Infernal Plunge. I can sack Dargo to Infernal Plunge and then pay for three more Dargos on top of that. Like, that's what Infernal Plunge would essentially do. Rograt gets me one sack and at most 4 mana at one time. Sacrifice and Burnt Offering gives me 7 mana for that one I just invested. And, like, as we've talked before, like, it's a damn good deal, right? Like, I take that deal. So, like, to me, and then you have the payoffs, right? So in Rogsai, the payoff is Adnos, or the payoff was like for some list it was Bolus the Citadel. If you wanted to get crazy with it, right? That was like the tech. It's like, oh, Rogsai's using Goblin Welder to get Bolus the Citadel. I'm like, bro, it's like Samsung and freaking iPhone. Like, dude, I've been doing that for years. Like, it's been around forever. But Dargo doing that specifically sacrifice and burnt offering means I can cast up to 7 mana spells without much investment to do anything. It also allows me because of Dargo's ability to cast things like mana wise that is much more value. So like for example, let's say I have a creature, a soul ring, and a talisman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tap the talisman, uh, tap the soul ring, float that mana, tap a land, then sacrifice the creature and the two artifacts. Still have that mana I had floating. Cast Dargo. That's a 7 mana spell now. I have only used 1 mana so far,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then then you use the floating mana from the talisman. Cast the sacrifice. That's now 8 mana I've used so far, and I've produced, and I have 10 floating mana,
Mm,
right? So then or 9 floating mana at that point. So then, like Ruthless Technomancer is only 4. Well, Dargo's still only 1. So recast Dargo. Now I've used 10 mana worth of resources. I still have 8 mana left over. Like it's stuff like that that makes it so powerful. Where like I can use resources and like double use my resources. And I explained this the other day to someone else. Is like there's a difference between Rogsai and Blue Farm and Mardu because in those decks they don't care as much about wasting a resource.
Hmm.
They're just like, I used a resource and then I have risk study out. Like, I'll get it back. I'll just exist and get it all back to myself. I have to use more, like, the resources of what I have, right? And I have to use it efficiently. So, double it down on stuff. Like, one of my favorite cards is Squandering Resources. It's not in this deck. But, like, Squandering Resources is sack a land and it can produce mana. Like, doubling up on lands makes Squandering Resources, like, super powerful,
Hmm.
right? So why not just have a commander that does that for you with all your artifacts too? You know?
That's pretty cool. Heck yeah. So have you now? Obviously, with like the, I guess the prevalence of obviously like Rogsai and things like that. Have you attempted like Dargo and like Silas at all, or have you like experimented with that list
Oh
at all?
yeah, oh yeah. I have a deck I'm brewing right now. It's Grixis Dargo. Uh, and hot take of the day is that other than the Rograt Dargo take is I think Dragonstorm is the next PETA. And what I mean by that is PETA is a card that 99% of decks will say, I'm not running it. It's 7 mana, it's sorcery speed, it's a huge investment, and I'm not using all my resources for that. Where I look at that and I go, that's the best payoff I can do with a Dargo. Like 100%. Like it's half my life. So if my life is at 20, 10 life and 30 something cards, like there's no better payoff than that.
Oh yeah.
So and in a Mardu deck, if you're drawing that much, you're winning the game. Like it's very rare that you do not win the game. Like has it happened? Yes, but like it's very rare.
Hmm.
But in the Dargo Grixis deck, it will have PETA as well because we do.
Hmm.
But Dragonstorm only needs 2 targets. I'm going to be running 3. I'm going to run Hoarding Broodlord, Niv Perun, and Niv. I think Fire Mind. I can't remember which one it is. I have it somewhere, but the one that says whenever you deal damage, you draw a card.
Yes.
So it's essentially uh like non-combat damage means you draw a card. So it's essentially Perun and Curiosity on 2 different bodies.
Yeah.
But Dragonstorm is a storm deck, right? So or a storm card. So if you cast Dragonstorm for 9 mana, like that's a huge investment. Right. But again, I can float 9 mana pretty easily with Burnt Offering and Dargo. So if I cast a rock, Dargo, Burnt Offering. That's 3 spells. Dragonstorm. I have 3 copies on the stack. Do you have a Flusterstorm or Mindbreak Trap?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Like, no, I don't. Okay, then I win. That's game. Like, I have win. So they're like, well, what about Force of Will? Doesn't matter. I have 3 copies on the stack. I only need 2 to resolve.
Hmm.
Right. So unless they have all that interaction for you, then that's a game. And then essentially at that point, it's if anyone casts anything other than a creature spell, I draw my deck. So like that's GG. Generally speaking, that's GG. But in Dargo, that seems pretty easy to do. So
That's so funny,
yeah,
dude. That's so cool.
yeah.
And that's I do find that super interesting too. Like where I feel like it obviously depends on like where I guess you're at as far as like what your meta kind of looks like. Like I talked to Eric about that, where like from on like one coast you may have like a lot more people may be a little more mid range, whereas like on another coast it may be a little more turbo. And I think that that's one of the cool things that like Dargo really like allows you to do. If you want to go fast and you have that window, you can absolutely do it. But if you
Hmm.
want to play into like the later game, you still have the potential to like obviously like win in the later game. Like I think you had even said in your primer, like you're typically finding lines by like turn 3, turn 4, like
Hmm.
right as you're making that turn into mid range. So like, but you still have the potential to like go for it turn 1, turn 2. Whereas I think Rograk's best like he's best in the early game because like he's giving you like that early advantage. So a lot of these
Hmm.
lists just like try to convert super early, and if they don't get there, then like all of your tempo is kind of lost at that moment because then people start to like you get like a lot of early tempo, and then people start to like slowly catch up to you like in the race. Whereas like for you can go whenever you see the window. You just have to find that window.
Right. And this is a debate I've had a lot with like Pontus, who's a big Dargo guy, like a big Dargo guy on cEDH TV. And he talks about like, you want to be able to find your window as early as you possibly can, which means turn two generally for him. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and especially if you're in a turbo meta.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was just joking with like a lot of the locals in my Discord, and I really appreciate them as like players because they will punish you
Mm-hmm.
if you do not know your stuff. Like I am constantly like, you know what? Maybe I can push turn two or three right now because I can do that. Nope. They have interaction. They had like it's so common that they just have like, no, stop. If I go before turn four.
Mm-hmm.
And I really actually built my deck because I just kept constantly getting beat down and stopped. Because like a very regular person I would play against, I would have like Marnius on one side, like Najila on like another table, and then Tyam, and then me. And it's like all the windows are covered. Najila can win anytime between turn three and whatever. Marnius's control can stop you at any time because they will mull for that. And Tyam will just shut all the windows because they just do stacks on you. And it's
Yeah.
like you have to figure out how to do this. And like that's a very normal pod for my meta. Like that's a very common pod. And so like if I'm doing that and I walk into a game in a tournament and it's like blue farm, Sisse. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna stacks me out. Like you're not gonna close that window. I know you can go fast. I can work way with this
Mm-hmm.
because then I'll just put out like my one of my five silence effects that I have. So like big shout out to like a lot of the guys I play with locally that like teach me how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice because like the other guy who won a tournament recently, he's 20 cards different from me.
Wow.
So he's like gotta go fast. Like he's Berber go. And it shows you that that deck it can, like you said, you can go turbo fast. I just prefer a deck where it's not like Rockside, where Rockside goes for a turn one or two because they can.
Mm-hmm.
They get stopped by a stiff breeze. And do they have a draw engine out? No? Okay, then I guess they're done playing. Like, oh well, kind of thing. Um, but like you said, like earlier, there are definitely turns. Like I had a game in the pool priority when we played. It was round I want to say four. I presented a win turn three
Mm-hmm.
and turn four and turn five and like every single turn, and they kept having interaction for me, and I just kept presenting wins and kept presenting wins like multiple a turn, and it like I will wear you out eventually. Like I will find a way to win. And like I was talking with the guy from Doom of Fools yesterday. He said, "Yeah, how many win cons do you actually have in this deck?" And we looked and we're like, "Oh, there's like 8 lines. There's like 8 win cons in this deck right now." It's like, "Oh, there's a lot. Like I'll find it somewhere. It'll get there." You know?
That's so funny, dude. I actually looked at our list and I've slowly I've updated some of like the card choices too, like based off of your list, just because I did notice that like once I had seen some of the includes that you had added, I was like, oh, that just seems so good. Like I need that. Like I need to add that. Like we were talking. I remember us talking at Pool Priority, and you were telling me about how terrible wheels were, and yeah,
hmm So, dude, I'm full of spicy takes today. Like, yeah, wheels are bad.
yeah.
Like, just mathematically speaking, they're bad. Like, I I don't know what to tell you. Like,
But
I don't like them.
but our list I think was like 12 cards different or something like that. And I realized like looking at your list, there was a couple of things that just seemed like no brainers. Like when I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, that's like why am I not on that? Like I wasn't on Yawgmoth. I wasn't on the Impulsive Pilferer, and then I wasn't on Felia, like things like that. And I was like, dude, these are just such good cards. Like, why am I not on these? And then my list was on like Oswald, and I've even thought that that card's like extremely slow. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna cut this card. Like I'm gonna make some of these swaps, and dude, it's so good. And then like the biggest one, and the moment we covered your list, whenever we were talking about the Lango event, the moment I saw Seize the Spotlight, I was like, this is going in
Yeah.
immediately.
Oh, dude, like it's so funny because it's not a good card. Like it's like if this was an episode of is this a card? The answer is no. End of episode. Like we're just done. Like it's not good. But in the right deck, like a Dargo deck, it's a banger of a card.
Hmm.
So it's funny that you talk about like the different card choices. You named Impulsive Pilfer and Yawgmoth. Both of those went in like after the land go event.
Mm,
So there was like, and Yawgmoth was a joke when I first like suggested it. I'm like, guys, wouldn't it be hilarious if we played like Yawgmoth? Because like the same guy who again got me onto Dargo Tymna played Yawgmoth in that event, right?
mhm.
And we were just play testing and like he's so talking about how he's doing, and I'm like, that'd be hilarious to use Yawgmoth. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, that's a sack outlet. Wait, it's a human for Cavernous Souls. Wait, it's a attacker for Tymna because it has 2 power. It can trigger with Delny. Wait a minute, like, and then like the more I kept thinking about it, I'm like, this is actually kind of good. And then I realized I'm like, wait, isn't Yawgmoth's Bargain like banned as a card? Like, do you know what that card does?
Yes, yeah, like just pay
Okay,
life,
yeah,
draw a card.
yeah. So like, what if we just had that though? Like, like it's banned for a reason, right? It can't be that bad. So I started like testing it. I'm like, wait a minute, why is this so easy to pull off? And because again, like in our best rituals are what? Calling the Weak and Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual, right? Oh, those are black pips for Yawgmoth.
Mhm,
Oh, shoot. And then I'm like, well, what about Impulsive Pilfer? Because I saw other people in Dargo playing it. And I'm like, how have you guys liked it? They said, oh, yeah, we like it. I'm like, okay, let me test it. And then I start stress testing the card. And I'm like, Yawgmoth, play Impulsive Pilfer, sack Impulsive Pilfer to Yawgmoth, kill your dude, draw a card, make a treasure. Encore the Impulsive Pilfer, sack all the tokens, make 3 more treasures, draw 3 more cards. Okay, yeah, no, we're cooking here. Like this is it. Like, and then I took out. Gosh, what did I take out for Yawgmoth at first? I kept Trouble in Pairs in for a while, and then someone in the Darker Discord's like, dude, you know the cuts Trouble in Pairs, like you know it is. And I'm like, I know, but I love that card, and I ended up taking it out for Yawgmoth. But it's just been so smooth since then.
mhm,
Like it's so easy to just go Yawgmoth on like turn 2 or 3 with like a Tymna attacker. Play, go to my turn, get some Tymna draws, sack the creature, which I'm already gonna do to Dargo anyway.
mhm.
Sack it, draw a card. Sack this, draw a card. Okay, now I have 2 more pieces of resources. Great. So Yawgmoth has been great, but Seize the Spotlight, like coming back to that card, has been a card like I tested it. The first time I ever played it was, I want to say the Top Deck Expo, like a year or so ago, a little longer ago. And I'm like, well, let's try this because it sounds kind of fun. And I'm like, I like their creatures. Maybe I can use them for Timda attackers. And then I realized after the first time they gave me their creatures, I'm like, wait, sacrifice your creatures to Dargo? So now it's a removal spell. And it's like, oh, so not only is this a removal spell, if they don't want to give me their creatures, which, you know, Loki, they will. They never want you to give their creatures. So I get 3 treasures and 3 draws. What other card? If there's a card that blankly said, pay 3 mana, get 3 treasures, and draw 3 cards, would you play that card?
Absolutely.
Probably. So that's just what it is 90% of the time, anyways. So like it's great because you'll get people that go, "Oh, I don't want you to take my kitten. Like I can't give you that. I can't
Mhm.
give you like the other day I was in a the Selesnya Sisse was on his board. I'm like, do you want to give me your Sisse? Like, no. I'm like, okay, well, treasure. Draw. And then people don't realize when you have a deck that's just full of gas, drawing 3 cards and making 3 mana
Oh, yeah.
can get you from like 0 to 100. So,
No, I remember the first time I saw that card. I don't even know why I never thought to throw it into the list, but I remember the first time I saw the card. I had so like I built a deck for casual, which it was like it's so funny because I used to not play partners like at all in CDH, and it was so funny because I didn't realize they were like the best thing to be doing in CDH. And,
yeah.
but I love the partner mechanic. So like I wanted to collect like as many of the partners as I could because like I love foil etch printings of cards. Like
Mm,
even when people have like full art, so they have like really cool like secret layers. I just love foil etch cards, and like
get
every
it.
one of the partners pretty much has a foil etch, minus like Francisco, and then like some of the like the planeswalkers like
Mm,
Tevish and like Jessica and them, and like Yoshimaru. So I immediately was like, okay, I'm just gonna like build out a binder where I'm just gonna collect like all the foil edge partners. And I eventually like started looking at these cards, and I was like, man, I really want to build some decks with this. So I built a casual deck, which again I didn't realize it was a cEDH deck, but it was Krark Sakashima, and so like
Oh, yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, did not know that. I was
Oops.
like, whoops. I wasn't running any of the free rocks or anything, but like one of the wins that I eventually got was I just kept like looping a Jessica's Will and like making like infinite red, and then I just kept recasting a Seize the Spotlight over and over and over and over and over.
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
sounds so fun.
And I was like, this card's so good. And then the moment that I saw it in your deck, I was like, what is that doing in here? And when I read it, and like I was like, oh my god, this is so big brain. This is so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it's funny that you mentioned like Philia as like one of the cards. Like, why am I not running that? Most people aren't. They weren't for a long time. And honestly, it's the first thing I tell a lot of people when they ask me about the deck and like the card choices I make. I'm like, look, I chose cards that fit my playstyle.
Hmm.
You, they are not objectively correct. Like, there are very few cards in that deck that are objectively like you should be running this, and if you're not, you're wrong.
Mm.
Like, if you're not running Ruthless Technomancer, okay, like, dude, like, that's a choice, but like you're wrong.
Yeah.
But Philia was one of those cards where, again, I have a meta where it's a Tyam, a Marnius, and a Najila at the table. My windows have to open and shut very quickly for other people, and if I open the door for someone else, they will win the game. Like
Hmm.
the next person will win. Just that's like again, we were talking about stacks and CDH. Like the bane of all stacks is you remove the stacks piece to just lose.
Hmm.
And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. So what's a piece that can open and shut doors very quickly? Number two, I need this piece. Like all my removal is based around removing like a certain like type of card or a certain card. And I needed to do that too. And then a buddy of mine who lives in Atlanta, he's like, dude, like, have you looked at this Philia? I'm like, well, first of all, it's an adorable dog, so like bonus points. But also, huh, like, and I started thinking about it and I started testing it. And I'm like, oh, I could just open and shut the windows whenever I want now. And because it's flash speed, it's effectively haste, like it's pseudo haste,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I'm not casting this, even if I cast it like turn one or two, it's still a good Tymna attacker because it
Hmm.
removes blockers. So it's also a two power. Oh, so it also triggers with Delny, so I can remove two pieces off the board now instead of one. And then again, if I happen to get stopped, it closes the window again
Hmm.
and I don't have to worry about it. Like it's so much less stress. And I also love like tiny little synergies of like um for example, like Wishclaw Talisman, right?
Hmm.
There's times where I'll go, okay, attack with Philia, trigger on the stack, I'll use my Wishclaw Talisman. I'll give it to the Blue Farm player, and everyone goes, "Ah, the Blue Farm player, wow, he's gonna win the game." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Anyways, so Philia trigger targeting the Wishclaw. They're like, "Yeah, cool." Philia says goes back to owner's control.
Hmm.
I'll get my Wishclaw back, please. And they're like, "Oh, like yeah, like I can double tutor now, like with pretty much with ease."
Hmm.
And it felt so much better with having cards like that. And again, with the addition of cards after the bans, adding Relic of Legends to the deck, I run 8 legendaries, not including my commanders. So it's just another thing I can just go, oh, it's just another piece of mana now that I can use with Relic of Legends. So it just synergized so well with what I was trying to do
Hmm.
anyways. So I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like I'll keep doing that. But like again, if people don't run Philia, I'm not gonna sit there and go, man, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Like it fits my style because it fits my meta and it fits what I like to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and that was something I think we had talked about where like I love the channel ability like on Touch the Spirit Realm, obviously like instant speed, but like just being able to temporarily shut something off and then it comes right back and you're not just like opening the whole like you're not opening the floodgates, you're just like you're letting a little bit out and like trying to shoot your shot, and then if you miss you're like, oh okay, this thing's back down, I'm cool. But
honestly, dude, like that was the card that Philia cut. Like I cut for Philia,
yep.
and the only reason why I kept doing that was because the one card. There's two cards in Magic right now, like other than Rule of Laws. That's just like a branch of cards. Like that like it shuts us down because it shuts everyone down.
Hmm.
But there's two specific cards that like if these are on the table, I'm going to have a really tough time winning this game. And that's Blind Obedience and Yasharn. Now Yasharn you don't see anymore except for again, I almost saw it this last weekend. uh, being like with the Captain Sisay deck, I'm like, oh hell no! Like he threatened to tutor Yasharn. I'm jamming here. Like I'm not waiting. But blind obedience really screws us. And touch the spirit realm doesn't touch blind obedience.
Mm,
And that's what was killing me. It was killing me that I was like, I have this sick touch the spirit realm. And I just stare at that blind obedience, being like, yep, pass turn. Like
yep.
can't do anything about it. Like, oh well.
No, I definitely agree. That and as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is so nice. This is just like a touch with a body that you can actually, like you said, you can get through with damage. You do have like other ways to manipulate it." So I was like, "This is just so nice." Like, and also like, yes, it's kind of nice that like every once in a while you'll be able to like channel somebody's like abolisher or like something that's gonna like potentially, like obviously that's nice, but I mean, man, a lot of times like a lot of times you're not going to have it when that's happening anyways. So and then all that ends up happening is like somebody knows that you have it in hand, and then rather than like using interaction or removal or anything, they just like try to force you to use the touch anyway. But like nobody's going to be like use that Felia right now, and it's like that doesn't work that way, dude.
Use the affiliate to bounce the thing. I'm like, sure, bro, it's my turn anyways. Like, was going to like, no problem. Well, like and like you said, like earlier with like the gameplay, right? Like, oh man, the touch of spirit realm is so good because you can get grand abolishers. That sounds like a uFarm problem. Like that sounds like your problem. Me Mardu, me no interact, right? Like that's what you all tell me anyways. So I'm not going to. It's not my job. Like
Yeah.
my job is not to clear the way for you. My job is to clear the way for me.
Mhm.
And like there's so many times in tournaments where like I literally had this happen at Lango where I have like a pyroblast and a silence and like an orange shit in my hand, and they're like, "Okay, priority goes to you." I'm like, "Bro, I'm Mardu. What do you want from me, man?" And he's like, "You're right. You don't interact." I'm like, "Oh, hey, whoa, like relax. Like we're not that bad." But like, and then ended up being in a stacks war, like, and they're going down, 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 and they're like, "Oh my god, like we don't have any more." I'm like, "Okay, anyways, orange channeling that guy." And they're like, "Oh, so you do interact?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I can. Doesn't mean I want to. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I will. But and people are like, why did you say that orange chant for the end?" I said because when you have so little interaction to do, right? It has to be impactful every time.
Hmm.
Like you can't just sit there and willy nilly just go like silence, we like you don't have enough capability to do that. So every time you use a resource, it has to be worth your time.
No, I 100% agree. I think that it's kind of funny how much easier it is to politic your interaction when you're not running blue, like just like what you were
So
saying.
easy.
Because like I mean there was a game where I think it was Power Blast or Red Blast. I can't remember which one I had in hand, but like there was some. It was a weird board state where like this player had like Thrasios and they had like Basalt and they had like a really good board state, and then there was a Kennen player, and they even the Thrasios player even had like a Mirage Mirror. So like they had the ability to like if they
Cool.
untapped, they were gonna make infinite mana. And so I
Right.
just basically told this Kennen player, I was like, look, I'll kill your Kennen right now, or you can use some kind of interaction to like deal with the basalt or something over here, and like you can absolutely keep your Kennen. But I just want to hold this up because like this is the only way I get to interact if he casts spells. And they're like, yeah, you're right, you're right. And they just people will like fire off all their interaction, and then it comes into your turn, and you're just like watching all these counter spells fly on everybody else's turn, and you're like, I think we just get there.
Yeah. There's there was definitely a time where it was actually the top 16 game at Lango, and Rocco was like doing his thing, and I had a soul partition in my hand. And actually, that game I interacted twice in that game, and like that was whoa, like twice on not my turn. Like uh, he had like, he was doing his thing, and like I just knew the entire time they were doing their battle. I have a soul partition. I can stop this anytime I want.
Mm,
I never had to use it, but like it was the fact that I could, and I just wait. Like you just be patient. Be patient with your stuff. Be patient with your lines. Be patient with like what you're trying to do, and like you will, uh, you'll find some success.
mhm.
Like I think a lot of people just again when you have uh when you have blue and you have like I play a little bit of Marchesa, like it's a
Yeah,
really fun deck, and like there are just times where like I can just fire off these counter spells because I have three more in my hand. Like I just don't care.
yeah.
Like it doesn't bother me at all. I'm gonna get a card replacement for it anyway. So like why not just do that? And like in talking about like your video with talking about like blue farming, like practicing blue farming, like that's how you're gonna learn. like I thought about that comment. I'm like, I guess you could say that in the sense of like the training wheels go on and you learn how to ride a bike. But if you already know how to ride a bike, don't put training wheels back on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you already know what you're doing, if you already know how to like do, don't give like Blue Farm is really like. I'm not saying that it's an easy deck to pilot in the sense of like people that play it aren't good. Like clearly there are good pilots. And clearly there's a lot of good people that play that
Hmm.
deck, and it is a very good deck. But it is such a forgiving deck where like if you mess up, it's not that big of a blunder. Like you're not that far behind.
Hmm.
Like and then you can catch up like just existing, smothering tide the risk out. Like you're gonna outproduce everybody.
Yeah.
Like just by existing. So like you learn very quickly with that interaction. Like make it count real quick.
Mm.
You know?
So, well, this is actually something too that I want, like, since we're already talking about, like I mentioned, like the interaction and the politics and stuff.
Sure.
Uh, so I noticed that like there was a moment where like I was reading the like reasons to play the deck, reasons not to play the deck, and
Oops.
I
Yeah.
think one of the things that said like you want to politic or you like to politic, and then like in quotes it says like we aren't here to yap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Reasons not to play this deck.
yeah.
Yeah, I do not recommend this deck
So
because
what? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, well, I was gonna say, so like, do you feel like how does that affect your ability to, I guess, like engage in politics and things like that? Like, do you think that the political aspect of the game is an important piece of the game? Do you feel like it, or do you feel like it's something that people will just like, I don't know, like they almost like utilize it improperly? Like, what is your opinion as far as like politics and how do you, I guess, utilize it running this deck?
Okay, so let's break that into like a couple of separate pieces, right?
Yeah.
So, do I think that politics is important in the game? 100%. It's unavoidable part of the game, and people are like, "Well, they should not let politics happen." No, it's part of the game.
Hmm.
Like like that's like saying I want poker to happen without bluffing. Like
Uh,
no question mark. Like that's a thing. Like you need to do that. So like politicking in CDH is absolutely integral to success in CDH,
hmm.
and really and even in casual, right? Like being able to assess a threat and being able to like know when people are making a mistake on like removal or something like that. Like hey, like don't do that. Now when it comes to like a Mardu deck, right? There isn't a ton of room for me to be like, no, guys, please let me have this, Lotho and PFB and this and this and this because I'll help the table. They're like, no, you won't. You're just trying to win the game. I'm like, well, first of all, maybe, but second of all, like, like politicking to this deck taught me so much about sometimes not saying anything
Mm,
is better in your politicking. And the number two thing is that when people deflect, that's when you know you're probably making the right decision. So
mm,
there's a there's a guy I play with who's a Rocco player. He's a very good Rocco player named Nick, and it's like it's almost comical to me every time we play because I know he's going to put a win attempt up on turn three. Like no later than turn three. He's like mold of four. Like he literally had a mold of four last night and still put up a win attempt on turn three. I'm like, the deck that's what it does. But every time I sit at the table, I'll be like, land, soul ring, pass. He'll be like, he's ready to win the game. I'm like, whoa. Like easy there, man. Like I have three mana and nothing else. Like I don't win the game right here. But like deflecting and having people just try to remove things, right? I don't actually want to deflect and like people. So perfect example was I was playing with your buddy in the top 16 game, right? Or yeah, top 16, and he puts an Orcish Bowmaster out, or someone puts an Orcish Bowmaster out, and they start talking about what's the best things to remove. And the right answer was my Lotho. Like 100% at the time, it was my Lotho. And they kept talking, and they said, "Well, what about this thing? What about this thing?" And I'm like, "Hmm, like yeah." And then and then he kept pointing at my Lotho, and I'm like, first of all, man, stop talking. Like that's the correct answer. Stop it. Like, but he finally gets to that point, and I'm like, and I think about that interaction. I'm like, you know what, dude? That's viable. Yeah, that's a very viable thing to like hit. Like, I think you're right. And people get so like defensive about like when things get targeted on their board.
mm-hmm,
And every time I see that, I'm like, oh, so you really do care about this. Like, if that gets removed, it's gonna hurt you.
mm-hmm,
And the age old politics of like, bro, I'm not even a threat right now. Like, bro, I'm not even this right now. Or bro, this isn't even a problem right now. Two responses to that. Number one, you're at a CDH table. Everything you do is a threat. Like,
Yeah.
if it's not, then you're not playing the right game and you're not playing correctly. Like, you are trying to win the game, right? Like, that's all we're trying to do. So, everything you do should be progressing you towards that goal of winning the game. So, every piece you put should be like in some way doing that. And then when they're talking about, well, bro, it's not a problem right now. Well, why would I want it to be a problem later? Like, what? Like, do you want me to wait until you are a problem that I have to deal with, or do I just remove the problem now?
Mm.
Like, if you have like a, if you have a tire that's going flat, right? Like, do you wait till it's flat to fill it up with air, or do you just fill it up with air? Like,
Yeah.
just get it done, you know? And then, or like, I mean, dude, we were just talking about how we both do like wrestling and stuff like that, right? Like, gosh, I could either get my takedown now in the first period, or I can wait until I'm down by 2 points. Like,
Yeah.
why? Just do it now, man. Like, win now, kind of thing. So, and I'm sure you face people like that too, where it's like, oh, I'm not a threat right now. Okay, and then like they become a problem, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, so now you can't stop the problem.
Mm.
Like that's like Time's like number one thing to me is that like they always say I'm not a threat yet. I'm not a threat yet, and then the moment they become a threat, it's like you can't stop me now. It's over.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, well, like you guys should have removed it before.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people that. So in politicking, I've stopped being that guy that goes, "Don't touch my stuff. It's not even that big of a deal." What I do is I go, "That is true. This is a problem, but this is what I am observing is also a problem at the table."
Mhm.
And I'll just say what I observe.
Mhm.
And I'm like, if you think, and then I end with, if you think that's the best thing for you to do to win the game, go for it.
Mhm. That was one of the biggest things that I learned, like actually talking to Ian, because like I've done some coaching with like a couple different people in the space, and like that was
Mhm.
one of the big things, like one of my big takeaways that I took from Ian was he always said like yes, but like rather than trying to just deflect, like why are you targeting me? Why like I'm not a problem. Like just exactly like you were saying. Just somebody says I assess this to be a problem, and you're like absolutely, like like absolutely it is a problem. I totally agree with you. But also, it is potentially, doing this, like this is a problem. I think that at the end of the day, you need to do what is best for you. This is just what I'm observing. But at the end of the day, I don't think either option is like a bad decision. And it's crazy how much, like how much more receptive people are to that than like, why are you even looking over at my board, dude? Don't be doing that. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Um, yeah, like it's well, it's a psychology thing, right? So if so let's say you say something, right? And I go, okay, actually, you know what? Let's take a step back. This is how I treat my students in my math classes, right? If a kid gets an answer wrong, it's very rare that a student just gets an answer wrong and 100% of everything they did in that question was actually wrong.
Mm,
It's probably more like 20 or 30%, or even like maybe at most 70% of the problem that they did was wrong. But there means that there was some stuff that was right. So instead of me saying, and like in no other subject in school do they just go, like, are we trained and drilled to be like, the answer is this, wrong, and move on. Like that's 100% a negative reaction, right?
yeah.
Instead, if you have a positive reaction, go, hey, this part is right. Like you're right. The Lotho will produce me more mana later on, and that can be a problem later on because I do use treasures. However, you don't have a ton of removal. And if you think the Lotho is the best thing to remove with the limited removal you have, then go for it. So you validate what they're saying. You're validating that like your threat assessment is valid in this respect. However, and this is where like a lot of like the like counter spells come in. Like let's say I have a big thing on the stack and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a thing. Unless it's like a PETA, then I'm like, this doesn't have to be a win.
Mm,
And in fact, it's not even a win right now.
mm-hmm,
Is that one counter spell you have for the next three, like two other people, to be able to stop two more wins? Is that what you're gonna do?
hmm.
Like, and that's a lot of time like the politic. I'm like, hey, dude, I can stop here. I had a game one time where, um, I casted a defense grid, right? And Blue Farm goes, okay, silence in response. I'm like, okay, stop, 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 stop. You are going to be the last person in this rotation with two other people, including a Blue Farm, with a defense grid out. you're not winning through that, right? Like this is your one piece of interaction. He's like, yeah. I said, how about this? Let this resolve. I'll sack it to Dargo and I'll pass turn.
Hmm.
And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'll sack it to Dargo and I'll pass turn. Literally, he's like, okay. Silence was in his hand. He kept it. I said, okay. Defense grid resolves. Sack it to Dargo. Pass turn. And then he's like, honestly, man, I didn't even think about like all the way around. I just thought stop the immediate threat. I'm like, dude, you got to think of like you can't think of what's happening every turn. Like that's it. Like you can't do this in cEDH. You got to think one or two steps ahead of that.
Hmm.
And when you're politicking, especially when they're like, well, I don't have the win on the board, right? But I think if you had this and this resource, you will win.
Hmm.
And they're like, no, I can't. I'm like, tell me I'm wrong that you can't win doing exactly X, Y, and Z. I can't. Like exactly.
Hmm.
So
Here, give me one sec. I'm literally just gonna plug my laptop up real fast.
yeah, yeah.
All good. I just happened to notice the screen got a little darker, and I was like, oh.
Oh, is that sunset? Nope, it's his laptop.
Ta-da. Okay. But no, I definitely think that like that to me just makes a lot of sense in general. Like it's funny because like I don't know how to explain. Like I I wouldn't look as far ahead in like whenever I would have a hand like same thing like Ian, that was another thing that he kind of instilled was what does this hand like actually do, like actually sitting there and looking at it and going like what does this do. And then whenever I was at full priority, I remember talking to you and you literally saying like you can't just be thinking like okay, turn one I'm going to do this and then we'll see what happens. It's like no, like you need to be thinking what, again, like what does this do, like how how deep into the game do you have a game plan like with this hand, like how far does this take you before then we're just like relying on like what else we're going to see. And it is crazy how just that little tidbit of information, like I just heard that little nugget from you and then I immediately was like oh my gosh, that's like really good. And then I just immediately like I now like whenever I'm playing I'm looking at the board state and I'm going what's going to happen like a turn from now or like a couple turns from now or well, like what does this hand do. And it's the same thing, like there'll be times where I'm like I'm holding up interaction, I'm like I could go for a win here, and then I'll realize like man this player like next in seed order has a lot of cards in hand, and like if I get stopped, they're probably just going to win the game. And like being a little more patient and saying, okay, like I've got some interaction. These other players probably have some interaction. Like we may be able to stop this win. And then just saying, okay, like right now it's probably not my window. And then just passing. And it's so crazy. Like it was just one little thing you said. And I don't think it was like something we stayed on for a minute, but it was just a little thing. I was like, that's such a good little nugget of information.
Oh, dude, it's so funny because like especially with this deck, people like I kept listening to all these like the people talking about their mulligans and gameplays, right? And every time they would say like, "Well, I got roll for a turn two or win," I'm like, how many hands actually are a turn two win with seven cards in hand? Like exactly a turn two win? Like
Mm-hmm.
not very many. So to me, I'm like when I mulligan and when I look at hands, I'm like, what's my game plan for like turns one, two, and three?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that really only is I have a turn one attacker, a turn two Tymna with an extra draw, so I'll see two more cards. Turn three, two more cards, so I'll see an extra five cards. Okay, I can work with that
Mm-hmm.
because I'll get things along the way. Like I have resources for the next thing, and like and you also with this deck, you realize very quickly, like, oh, I have a game plan. Like I'm gonna ruthless Technomancer. It's gonna be so sick. And then you're like, wait, I'm only getting Ruthless Technomancer. I don't have a tutor in my hand, or like I don't have like the resources to do that, and then that, like, or even if I get a Curse Mirror, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do with this now? Like you have to think that you have to pivot, right?
Yep.
And if you're unable to pivot your game plans, then you're not going to win a lot of cEDH games. And like it drives me up the wall when people sit there and like they'll have their hand like, I'm just thinking about what I'm doing this turn. I'm like, you didn't think about that the last three like minutes, 4 minutes when like I was doing random things like you didn't have interaction, so like what are we doing here? Like it drives me up the wall when people don't pre-plan turns,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, what are you doing all this time? Like is it like the monkey just banging cymbals in your head like when other people are playing? Like what are we doing? Because you need to know because like things change, and like if you don't have a game plan and you didn't know where you could pivot to, then you probably aren't going to win that game.
Mm. No, yeah, that definitely makes a ton of sense. It's it is one of the things that drives me nuts. Like, not to get too off topic with that, but it's the same thing. Like, you're sitting there and somebody it gets to somebody's turn, and they it's almost like they're reading every single card that is in their hand, like, real slow, and they're just taking their time. And I'm like, dude, at this point, like, I don't know if you're just like you just don't know what you're doing, or like it is actual slow play, but like, please take a game action. And then maybe they finally do something, and it's like the most, no offense, but it's like the most underwhelming thing. And you're like,
Yeah, they're like, tap to play an arcane signet, pass.
yeah,
You're like, that took you 2 minutes, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Dude, no, I'm not joking. I have like there I've played against people where you're sitting there and it is like 6 minutes deciding what to do for just one game action and then pass. And I'm like, what just happened? Like,
yeah. It was like, well, I had to think about my stuff. I'm like, do you not know what your cards do? Like, you built the deck, didn't you? Like,
yeah.
you should know what some of it does at least, you know? And like, I play weird cards, man. I get it, and like, I find weird lines and stuff, but like, you don't do that. That's another thing is I don't think people actually practice enough.
Mm,
So like, the difference between a good wrestler and a great wrestler, right, is experience and how many times they've done something, right?
mm-hmm,
Like they've taken that shot 1,000 times. They've
mm-hmm.
done this specific sequence 1,000 times. And like during finals week, uh, leading up to Lego, I was goldfishing because I was just proctoring maybe 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow,
Like
okay, yeah.
just I was just goldfishing, just going through lines, like making mental notes of like, yeah, here's the same line here. Okay, what if I had this? Okay, what if I don't draw this many here? Okay, like when I do my practice games with like people on spell table, I have sticker goblin in the deck. I always say I'm like it's gonna be four, like but you could have six. If I could win with four, I certainly could have done it with six.
Yeah.
Like it's always four. Is that okay with everyone? Like yeah, it's fine. Like perfect, great. I have stickers and it's four because that's the lowest it could be. So and then like with what's it called? Like Esper Sentinel and with like Lotho, I'll roll a die. Like what if I don't get a draw every like person? What if I don't get this? What am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like people sit there and like they'll play a Lotho or they'll play an Esper turn one. They're like, hell yeah, I'm definitely gonna draw three extra cards, and then they don't, and they're like, oh my god, I did not plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, yeah, what are you gonna do if you don't? Like you get to a point where you're like you said earlier, where you put yourself in enough stressful situations, like just microdosing that little bit of stress. Like if it actually happens, you're like, meh. Like I've definitely kept hands where I'm looking at it and I have one land and like some rocks and like a dream. I'm like, I've done this before. I can do this, and I'll win
Yeah.
a game. So like it, you have to be able to plan ahead and pivot,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't do that a lot.
No, I think that that makes a ton of sense, honestly. I think when it's like you said, just with anything, the more reps you get in, like the more you practice, you're just naturally going to get better. Like, things are going to start to feel almost like almost like second nature. Like, it's kind of like we were just talking about. Like, the first time, well, even with wrestling, the first time you ever like shoot a takedown, I always think it's so funny when you watch somebody that like tries to shoot their first takedown. It almost looks like they're just doing like a lunge. Like, they don't understand like the
Mhm.
mechanic of like your knee going over the toe and like coming down, and like that. And so it's always so funny to watch. But then you watch a guy that's wrestled forever. It's like they're just over there like shadow wrestling, and they don't. It's, I mean, it literally looks so seamless. It looks so smooth, and that's where you want to be at. Obviously, like, you're gonna have stuff thrown your way, but I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, I know that I don't even get enough reps in. It's crazy to me how good the best people in this space are. Like, how often they're playing cEDH. Like,
Yeah. There's do you know who Spooky is?
spooky. That name sounds super familiar. I've probably
He's
seen them.
he's one. Yeah, I'm sure he was at Pool Priority. He's a super cool guy.
Mm,
Loves to play like these. Like he was the guy who did Pant Laws uh last year. Like
mm,
that was his claim to fame. But like it's so funny that like on almost any night I can see him in some Discord playing. Like somewhere. And he is a very good player.
mm,
Like he's one of those dudes that like I know if I go up against him, I'm in for it. Like I'm in for a while, right? So like you see how much, like you said, you see how many reps these guys get on like just all these different decks and all what they're doing. Like they just, it's second nature just to do these things, and there's no like hesitation. Like yeah, I already know what they're gonna do. I know what that person's about to do. Like they just know,
mm,
and like that's when they know that again a good player versus a great player,
mm.
right? Like they'll like even like again like in wrestling, like they're good like the moment they get into their stance, and you're like ah. crap, like he's good. Like you know he's good. Like you could just tell he moves differently, and like you could tell by like the first like when people start throwing out win attempts in games, like they don't stress. Like they don't stress at all. They're like yeah, okay, like next thing, and they're like oh they know the line, they know where to stop it, they know that they have it. Like they're chill.
Yeah.
Like it's just different.
So I'm trying to think of. Let me look over here too.
Yeah. Also, if I get way too long winded, man, like please, like be like yo, dude, like shut it down, man. Like
No, brother, you are all good. Trust me. Like I talk a ton, so like I love having people on that actually want to chit chat. Like even I don't know if you've seen like Critical. They released an episode today, and Eric literally talked about that. Like we went in with the intention that we were going to talk about Lumra, and I don't even think we talked about Lumra until like an hour into us being on the call.
Z no, no, I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it, of course. Yeah, dude, like but that's the thing, man, like, I love like, the people asked like, "Dude, like, do you wanna just talk?" Like, dude, I will sit here and talk shop. Like, if you don't stop me, I will talk shop forever. Like, I am very okay with that. Like, it is I got that ADHD brain, man. I am locked in. So
Heck yeah, dude. No, I was gonna ask you. So, like, I did want to go over because obviously, with this being something that's not normally like people aren't seeing it a lot. What are
Mhm.
the main like win lines that you typically will see from the deck? Like, what are you typically like looking for? What are your most common like wins, or like what win conditions are there in the deck?
Do you want me to bring up the list, like, so, like, they can visually see it?
Yeah,
Or
that would be totally fine. Yeah.
alright. So there's like I said, there's like 8 different lines you could do in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to count Bolas and Citadel as like a line per se. But the main one that is like the go-to
Mm-hmm.
is Ruthless Technomancer.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion now, the best line is with Deadpool. So the line goes reduce Dargo's cast to 1. So
Mm-hmm.
again, you sacrifice artifacts and creatures to make him 1 red. Cast a Ruthless Technomancer, sacrifice Dargo, get 7 treasures,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you go 7 treasures, Dargo's off the battlefield, Ruthless Technomancer. Recast Dargo for 1 mana, because every time you sack a treasure, it's also going to reduce it by 1. So again, you have 6 mana left over. Cast Deadpool, ETB copying text of Ruthless Technomancer. ETB sack Dargo, you should have 6 minus 4, so you'll have 2. Recast Dargo, go to 1 treasure. Um, yeah, then after you sack Dargo, then you'll have 8. Sacrifice Ruthless Technomancer, casting Dargo again. The original Ruthless Technomancer is what you want to keep sacking at
Mm-hmm.
this point. You want Deadpool to stay as the copied text. You reanimate Ruthless Technomancer using the second ability, because Deadpool has that ability, which is pay 3, 2, and a black. Sacrifice X artifacts. Return target creature in your graveyard with X power, and X can't be 0. So you could loop Deadpool, but like it's cost too many treasures because he has a power of 5, and Ruthless Technomancer only has a power of 2. So you reanimate Ruthless Technomancer, sacrifice Dargo again, make 7 treasures, rinse and repeat, infinite treasures, and you have infinite mana. After you say like I have a loop where I have infinite mana, and I'm now going to sack Deadpool to Dargo cast. I'm going to reanimate Deadpool with Ruthless Technomancer. When it comes into play, I'm not going to copy any text. I'm going to keep it as a Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay 3, sacrifice Deadpool, which is part of the cost of the ability. Everyone's going to draw a card. With that, I'm going to hold priority. Hold priority, reanimate Deadpool using Ruthless Technomancer. Rinse and repeat that process. Everyone draws their deck and you win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's great about this combo in particular, for multiple reasons. Number one, it's an instant win, right? So it will win the game. Number two, it's 100% creatures, which is, to me more advantageous because the cards that stop creatures right now that most everyone runs. Of course, there are more, but the ones that you see most prevalently are Force of Will, uh, Pact of Negation, and Mind Break Trap.
Mm-hmm.
That's about that. Those are the common three, and there are others that are out there, but like that's the ones you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
So rinse and repeat that process. Everyone draws their deck. Now this happened in round 7 of Land Go, and Wounded was in the pod with me, and he said, "I'd like to play this out one by one." I said, "Okay, I'm fine with that. unless you have a trick bind ability in your deck, this I can go over the top of whatever you do. He's like, what do you mean? I said, okay, let's say you start drawing cards and you find something that's like a removal spell. I'm gonna activate Ruthless Technomancer to reanimate Deadpool over the top of whatever you do.
Mm.
I cast Endurance. Okay, reactivate Ruthless Technomancer. Do it again. And rinse and repeat the process.
Mhm.
So that's a win immediately. That's the cleanest line that we have.
Mhm.
Um, there are other lines where this is why you have Bergie in the deck. So Bergie and Relic of Legends with a sack outlet means infinite cast of Dargo, and then whatever sack effect it you have, it's whatever you could do with that. So Alter Dementia is milling people out, and Goblin Bombardment is infinite damage.
Mhm.
So the way that works is you reduce the mana of Dargo to 1. You cast Dargo. Bergie means you float a red. Relic of Legends doesn't float a mana immediately, but when Dargo resolves, you tap Dargo immediately with Relic of Legends, tap it for a red.
Mhm.
Sacrifice Dargo to whatever effect that you would like to sack him to, aka Alter Dementia or Goblin Bombardment. Do the effect, put him back in the command zone. Since his cost is always going to be 1 because he sees himself being sacked as well, you can do that infinitely.
Mhm.
So it's a great way to fuel your breach. It's a great way to mill everyone out. It's a way to do infinite damage. It's a way to draw cards in your deck. So the newest addition to the deck, which is Yawgmoth, is again the Yawgmoth's bargain that we build ourselves. He says pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, which in this case would be Dargo. Put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 creature. Now it's really important that it says up to 1 because it means it doesn't have to target.
Mm.
If it didn't say up to 1, you would have to have a target and we'd have a problem.
Mm.
So up to 1 and draw a card. Now it does say pay a life, so you can't do this for your entire deck. But if you're drawing 30 cards in this deck, you're probably winning the game. Like I haven't had it yet where like I've been able to do this loop without stopping and I've lost.
Mm.
So like you will get there. Um so with the last one is Ruthless Technomancer with Cursed Mirror, which essentially is the same as the Deadpool line, except the Cursed Mirror becomes a copy of the Ruthless Technomancer,
Mhm.
and you make infinite treasures. Now, what happens from here is uh, there are a couple ways to finish the game. Since you have infinite treasures, that doesn't mean you win. You have to have something else help you out.
Mhm.
So that's why I have a Mayhem Devil in the deck. That's why I have a Professional Facebreaker in the deck. That's why we have a Magda, so you can tutor up all of your artifacts, which essentially means I can tutor up my Bolus of Citadel, I can tutor up my Wishclaw Talisman, I can tutor up my Altar of the Wretched, to start drawing cards. Um, that's another way we can win. You have with Professional Facebreaker, with its second ability, says that sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card. So if I have infinite treasures, I have my deck effectively. Um, Another fun line that we now have with Totaro Taro, if Totaro Taro is out and you're doing the Ruthless Technomancer line, you can reanimate Totaro Taro to draw your deck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I actually did that the other day. I was really like, I can't figure. Oh, reanimate Totaro Taru, like cast an Enlightened Tutor, put Curse Mirror on top, reanimate Totaro Taru, draw the Curse Mirror, start looping. Now you can, but the problem is the other person may draw their deck too.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna draw, they might start drawing things. Here's the thing: if I have like a Grand Abolisher or like it's a deck that is like a Lumra,
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, dude, draw your deck. Like I don't care. Like that's fine with me, you know. So you have that. So that's what? That's 4 different lines right there. You have Praetor's Grasp and Tainted Pact. So you can Tainted Pact with and with someone else historical with all the treasures that you make at times. Um, you have Bolus' Citadel, which along with the Deadpool line that I mentioned, this is the second way that you can win through the One Ring. So the One Ring says that they have protection from everything, right?
Mhm.
Well, Deadpool doesn't target. It just says every opponent draws a card. So that gets around the One Ring. And then Bulls of Citadel, once you have Bulls of Citadel and you have your infinite treasures and you have all your stuff, you can sacrifice treasures and Bulls of Citadel, recast it with Underworld Breach, and you can you use its second ability. Sacrifice 10, you lose 10 life. So you just start looping that as well. So if they have the one ring protection, you go, okay, sacrifice 10 permanents to lose 10 life, sacrifice Bowls of Citadel, recast it with Underworld Breach, do it again, do it again, and win there. Um, with Underworld Breach, which is probably the best win con right now, like versatility wise in Magic. Um, there's multiple ways to get your deck into your library. One of which is Alter Dementia with Dargo. If you have LED, Lotus Petal, um, Mox Opal, and enough artifacts, uh, yeah, that should all be all of them. Uh, you can cast Dargo, sacrifice it to Alter Dementia, mill yourself, recast the thing, sack the Mox Opal to recast Dargo, uh, recast Mox Opal from the graveyard, sacrifice Dargo, rinse and repeat process. Alter the Wretch, which is a card that was like straight up built for this deck for some reason. I don't know why Wizards did that, but for it kind of thing. Uh, is when it ETBs, draw 7, mill 7. So if I have LED and Underworld Breach and Alter the Wretched, I will crack LED with Dargo on the field, cast Alter the Wretched, draw 7, mill 7, cast LED, exile 3 cards, crack LED, like do it again. Alter the Wretched also has an ability that if you need to do it more than once and like they target it with a spell or like I don't know, like a what's it, Agatha's Soul Cauldron,
Mm-hmm.
there's an ability at the bottom that says pay 2 and a black, return it to your hand. So target Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Alter. Cool. Put it back in my hand. Fizzles. Great. Let's continue. Um the last line I have found recently is my favorite because I haven't performed it yet. Um and it's my favorite because it's really odd and it's a weird interaction, but I've checked with a judge and they said it works, and I want to do it so bad. So it's with Dualcaster Mage. Oh, but that's another thing. Dualcaster Mage multi duplication.
Yep.
That's another win con. Um, uh, Dualcaster Mage, Savine's Wreck, and a sack outlet. All right. So check this out. This is like one of my favorite things. I found it and it's really fun. So let's say you have Savine's Wreck in the grave, right? It doesn't have to be in the grave, but like let's say you cast Savine's Wreck, so cast for wherever you want. Savine's Wreck, let's say Dualcaster Mage and Savine's Wreck are in the graveyard. Cast Savine's Wreck with its flashback, targeting the Dualcaster Mage with its first copy, right? Dualcaster Mage ETBs. Savine's Wreck copies as part of the resolution of the spell, right? So it will have a copy when the ETB goes on the stack.
Mm.
So the copy will target something else in the graveyard. You have a sack outlet, aka Alter Dementia or uh, Goblin Bombardment. With the ETB on the stack, sack the Dualcaster Mage to whatever sack outlet you have. Put it in the graveyard. Copy goes on the stack. Copy of Savine's copy that Dualcaster Mage makes targets the Dualcaster Mage. Reanimate the Dualcaster Mage. The copy of Savine's Wreck has not resolved yet. Target the Savine's Wreck. Do it again. Rinse and repeat process. Now, let's say you're doing that and like you're for some reason like you can't target other people with Alter Dementia. Mill myself with my final copy of Dualcaster Mage, target by Underworld Breach. Win the game.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. I was going through your primer and I happened to see that, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I started reading it. I was like, "That is insanity!" Like
Oh,
that.
dude, I want to hit that so bad. I want to hit that so bad in the game. Like I am itching to. I will go out of my way to hit that if I can.
That's so
Like
good, dude. That's so
yeah.
funny. I like I said, I was going through that, and then I mean, but again, it's stuff like that. I think I said that to Logan the other day, where it's so funny to me how like if you just don't ask, you're never gonna know. Like if,
Yeah.
until somebody tells you something, or like until you like if you're not looking for it, you're just never gonna know. And then once you find out, like once you learn things like that, it literally feels like a level up moment. Like it's just so crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's so like when you're just going through lines in your goldfishing and stuff like that, and like you just find weird interactions. You're like, well, how does that work? And then you think about it, like, wait, I can do that too, huh? Like that's fun. And then like that's like the other thing, like the Totaro Taro moment the other day. Like I did that. I'm like, huh? I guess I could technically win that way, can't I? Like, yeah, I guess that works too. And like that's the thing with this deck, man. Like again, why I feel like this deck when you win with it,
Hmm.
it feels so much better than Blue Farm because like Blue Farm is like, what did you do? Underworld Bridge, Historical, or a Mnemonic Betrayal to do the one of the two things I just named. Ooh. Like 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 again, it's a super good deck and it's super streamlined because it does the thing super well,
Yeah,
but that thing is really boring. So like I don't know. Like I like finding things like that to me, man. Like finding decks that you have joy with is like half the fun of like that's half the battle, isn't it? So when you find something
absolutely.
you like, play it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's like I think I'd said, or like Eric had recommended I start getting some reps in on Blue Farm, and so I've been playing Blue Farm, and it
Sure.
sounds terrible, but like every single time I win a game with Blue Farm, I just am like sad that I was the guy that got the win. I'm like, why did Blue Farm win that game? And I was like, oh, that was me. Ah, that's terrible. Like, and I just, it's
Well,
like,
like okay, so like even when we do tournament breakdowns, like so like how many people do tournament breakdowns? Like you guys do tournament breakdowns. You have Lamar cards that does tournament breakdowns. You have Ian that does tournament break. Like everyone that does tournament breakdowns. Every time they get to a point where like here's another blue farm. Like, do they ever seem like they're happy about it? Does anyone ever look at that and go, "Wow, that's impressive"? That the blue farm player once again topped that. Like, cool, dude. Like, yeah, like that's great and that's fine. And again, if that's what you find fun, by all means. Like, I'm not gonna muck your young. But like, I don't know. Like, it's people have figured out the deck, and like, and again, I've also seen blue farm decks where it's like you have card choices where you're like, really? Well, it still runs like blue farm, so it still wins. So like if I played, a card that was like ridiculously wrong to play, that's gonna hurt my deck a lot more than it's gonna hurt blue farm's deck. You know
mhm.
what I mean? Like it's just it like you have to be more careful about your card choices. In blue farm, you just like I ran blue farm for a while with Narset in it, and it slapped. I'm like, yeah, counter your underworld breach, swing with Narset. They're like, why do you run Narset? This is why. Pitch it to Chrome Box. Bam! Like nailed it. Like get like stuff like that. Like or like you run like I ran Dahada and Mayhem Devil in Blue Farm, and they're like, why? I'm like, because it loops with Underworld Breach. Like it's not good, but like I can do it.
That's so
So
funny.
yeah,
Well, like even so, one of my buddies that he lives out like towards like Utah, and so he plays a lot out there. And I think he just made the Envy, which is really cool. Evil Xander is I
nice.
think his like top deck name on there. Uh,
That sounds familiar.
yeah, but he
I think,
so huh.
yeah, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I got you. But
Yeah,
no, so he at one point he just they his friends like he would play all sorts of Fringe stuff, man. He was like taking things. That's actually how I met him was because he was playing Zer, and he was taking it to events and doing well. Like I went and looked at his like all the decks that he had won events with or like had done really well with, like made top 16s, and it was like crazy. It was like Tymna Sakashima, like a stacks deck. He had done it with like Arkham Dagson with multiple top events with Zer, even like in a big event. It was like over 100 players, like got like second place with Zer. Like just all what was it? He was playing like Elsha, the Elsha top,
mm,
like all sorts of
mhm.
stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. And then his friends just kept telling him like, no, play Blue Farm, like you need to try out Blue Farm. And he picked up Blue Farm and he did really well with it. Like his deck was really good. But and I mean he's just an insane player too. He's so good. But
Yeah,
it was so funny because he was saying like everybody was arguing on like what the 98th card is in blue form. They're like, and he's like, because the deck is like so solved at this point. Like you're just like, oh yeah, like what's the
right.
98th card? And he finally just got to the point where he was like, I'm tired of arguing about this, and he just threw like a storm crow into blue form, and so that was like his
And still probably top, didn't he? Still
absolutely,
probably top. Yeah, yep, yep.
yep.
It's still a Tymna attacker. Still works, baby. Like here we
he,
go. Like
he says he goes just play Stormcrow and he just like throws it in and then he just when you clicked on the deck, it like the image for it was the Stormcrow like at the time. It was just so silly.
yeah. I mean, like, but I bet you, if you asked him, like. playing all those other Fringe decks, right, and learning all these different lines and learning how like, did and then you played Blue Farm. How did it feel playing Blue Farm
Mm.
when you weren't like, and then like after playing all those decks? And I bet you he would say it was so much easier, man. Like mulligans are super easy.
Mhm.
Like the play patterns are easier. Like it's again, you knew how to ride the bike already, and then you put training wheels on, and or more like in his case, he was riding a motorcycle when he put training wheels on. Like he doesn't need that, he just doesn't need it. So like you learn from you learn in those like good players, like all the grit, like best players, all of them can play those Fringe decks, and then some of them just play blue farm anyway because again, it's the best. Like no knocking it. Of course it is. But like I know I've seen all the top players play decks that are not blue farm and do well. And they're not good because they can win with blue farm. They're good because they can do it with everything,
Mhm.
right?
Well, and
Like
it
Ian's like that's his thing, right? Like he can win with a ham sandwich and a piece of bread. Like, yeah, that's what makes him good. If he only played blue farm and that's all he ever was successful on, and he did all these other decks that he just lost all the time, I don't think a lot of people would look at him and go like, "Oh, he's the best player in cEDH." Like, no, he'd be a good player. He's a good player,
Mhm.
but he's not the best player. But now he's considered the best player. You know?
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's something to be said about that too. Like obviously, I mean, with any event, like anything you're doing, I mean, we know, like you want to, if you're wanting to win, like I remember seeing a video where this guy had actually done like it was a pretty decent video. I wish I could remember the guy's name. I could go back and look, but he literally just did like it was like almost like a slide like presentation of just like how to win a cEDH tournament, and he had like won a couple of events, and it was on Blue Farm, and he just like it was like literally just like a PowerPoint presentation, and he was like
Mm,
saying all these things like this is what you do, like if you're wanting to win, you should play Blue Farm. Like obviously, like if he was like you have like people that want to like win in a funny way or like they want to be like cute, and then you have like do you just want to win? And he's like if you want to win, it's the best deck. You should play Blue Farm. But then like you go through this whole presentation, it's like an hour long thing, and then it gets to the very end, and he's like, it's more fun than winning though. Having fun, play whatever you want. Like at the end of the day, like do you just want to be the guy that's like just win, and then everybody goes okay, you won on Blue Farm, cool, or and I'm not hating on anybody because like there are some people that obviously I'm sure they love Blue Farm. Like it's probably a deck that they actually do
mhm,
enjoy playing. Like I'm not hating on that, but like
yeah.
I had that path that I could diverge one of two ways because like I remember going to a tournament. I was on Zer. I scrubbed out so hard. I didn't win a single game. I went like 0-5-0, like did
Mm,
terrible. And we come back and I'm talking to Chase and I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, well, you could play Blue Farm. And I remember like there were two roads, and I said I go play Blue Farm or I play Zer. And I literally told him I was like, do I want to be a guy who wins or do I want to be a guy who wins with Zer? And I was like, I want to be a guy who wins with Zer. And then after that, I was just like sold. I was like, I don't even care. I don't care if I don't win. I don't care if I do win. As long as I'm playing Zer and I'm having fun in an event, I literally could care less. Like, could care less.
I mean, it's really funny that you say that because like when I first started playing the deck and like I did my first placement on this deck, and then EDH Top 16 came out, and I looked at my name on the list, and I was near the top, but there was other people who had also placed as well. I'm like, I don't want to be just another dude in another list that like everyone is like, oh, he's the one of 50 players that all have done the same thing. So you're not that unique. You're not that, and it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I want to be the guy that they look at and go, that's the Dargo Tymna dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was at that moment, I was like, that's my goal. And like you said, there were definitely I have if you look at my play nice, which I also by the way, if you're trying to get better, like talking about like winning games, if you don't track your games, you're just doing the you're not gonna be progressing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just not. Um I use Play Nice. It was Freedom Waffles spreadsheet before that. I imported all my stuff. There are chunks. I literally posted this to the Dargo Discord. There are chunks of like 29 losses in a row. There are chunks of like and I'm talking like once. I'm talking like multiple times playing this deck where it's like 19 losses in a row, 25 losses in a row, like and like or like weeks of losing and maybe winning a game or two. And I'm like, man, like this was a grind and a struggle to get through. Like this is, but like, and now I'm where I am now, and I don't think like I don't want to be done yet. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be like this is the peak of where I'm going. But like I also now I'm like where I was and where I am now feels so much better.
Hmm.
And I look at like you can look at your data and just go like, damn, dude, I grew as a player like lots.
Hmm.
And I love that, you know? Um, but like you said, like you get to that crossroad where like it's all sunshine and rainbows on this side, and then it's like the clear storm on that side. Like, well, the sunshine and rainbows looks nice, but like doesn't look fun.
Yeah.
Like like that doesn't look like what I want to be doing. I want to doing that thing. So, like, and I totally get that, dude. Like being that guy that's like you could just play blue farm. Like, yeah, like you're right. Like statistically speaking, if that's all you care about is putting up W's, you are correct. Like that is the one way to do it. And like more power to you, you know?
No.
But again, not knocking anyone that plays blue farm as their main deck, not knocking anyone that finds it fun,
Hmm.
because like winning is fun. Like let's be like again, let's also be real here. Winning is fun.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my coach always told me, he's like, show me a good loser, I'll just show you a loser. And I'm like, damn, like that's tough, but like valid. Like it's very valid. And like I like winning, and I'm just glad I'm able to do it with a deck that I have. You know, like if I had played this deck for 2 years and I never won anything, I probably would have come off it by now. Like no lie, but like I would still probably keep it sleeved because I
Hmm.
still like it. I still think
Absolutely.
it's fun. Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, and I think that that's one thing that I'm honestly just so happy to see right now from like the CDH, just like the game in general, like how diverse everything is. Like we just covered an event. Our video just came out today where we covered the New Jersey like CDH sinkhole.
the sinkhole. Yeah,
None of the decks in top 16. I think there may have actually been like one. He didn't have a deck list, and we found out I think it was a blue farm list. But like none of the decks in top 16 were the same deck. Every single deck was a unique deck. Like every single one, there were no duplicates from 16 all the way up to one, and it was just
so that's
crazy.
great.
Yes,
That's great.
I was like, that's awesome. Like the fact that people are taking the opportunity to like say, hey, this format's wide open. We're just gonna have fun. We're gonna do what we want to do. Like I've always described, and it was the same way. Like whenever I used to like play Yu-Gi-Oh, or like even like now with like the internet and everything else, like like wrestling, any martial arts, anything. Like people will, you develop like this hive mind, and it's like everybody just takes it, they dissect it, they tear it apart, they figure out what's good, what's bad, and then they just like all put it back together and they're like, here you go, here's this thing. And so it's so cool to see that happen in real time with like all of these new decks that keep coming out, like all the Final Fantasy stuff, all the stuff that we thought was like completely dead, and then now it's been like revived and it's doing really well. Like these decks that are like super old, people are like, no, they're done, they're toast. Like even stuff that was like around forever, like your Kenriths and Nagilas and things like that, and people are like, yeah, they're just kind of done now. They're not, and then people are still being like, no, they're not. Like we're gonna fix this, and you'll see them pop up every once in a while in a top 16. So I just think that's so cool, man.
I mean, like when the bans happened, right? Like there, it was objectively, are you running Mana Crypt, Dockside, and Jewel Lotus? No, like I mean, Jewel Lotus was like it's rare you didn't see it, but like it
Mm-hmm.
was pretty much in every deck. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you weren't running those three cards, you were wrong. Like Dargo Thrasios, for instance, it was literally Dockside deck. Like the entire deck was built around get Dockside, clone Dockside, flicker Dockside, use Dockside. Like that was the whole thing. And then like it was objectively correct to do that. And then like before, it was objectively correct to do that. If you weren't doing that, you were wrong. And then when that happened, when those bans happened, we had to get creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in no world would Yawgmoth have ever made it into the deck post pre-ban. Like I just don't think it ever would have because there were so many other efficient cards that were utilized that you could
Mm-hmm.
just do things better that way. And so it was like, okay, like you could loop like with Chthonian Nightmare was like an Orcish Bowmaster, Dockside, and Dargo loop. Like it was just too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so if you're not doing that, it's wrong. But then when that happened, we had to, right? You're forced to adapt. You're forced to pivot. And like you said, like Sisse was considered dead. It's then I had a friend Cole. Shout out to him for uh like again. I have such a good community around me, dude. Like I love these guys. Uh, Cole did a meta breakdown for me. He's not even going to the invitation. I did a meta breakdown for you. I'm like, bro, like that's so nice. Like that, I know it takes hours because I know he went through every single person and saw every single major deck that they played. Like, what's their most played deck? And so he did that for 60 different people.
Mm.
Uh, and Sisei is like the number two deck. Like Sisay was considered dead. Like after the bans, it's the number 2 deck in the invitational
Mm,
representation. Like it's Blue Farm, it's Sisay, and I think Rog Thras was the next most, and then
mm,
like TNT, and then like miscellaneous
mm.
the rest of the way. But like the last invitational, it was Blue Farm, Rogsai, what are you doing? Like like that was really what it was. And like it felt so bad being there like when I was playing because I was like and I know I was so mad. I almost dropped the deck last invitational too. Because like I was 0 like 1 and 1 and like 5
Mhm.
or something like that. Like I was so demoralized. So like all I'm doing is running into Blue Farm and Rockside. Did Rockside win immediately? No. Then we just grinded it. I saw 7 silence effects. Like I'm done. I'm done with this. But now there's going to be like a pretty good diverse group, and I'm really excited to see what people bring. I'm really excited to see how it works out. Um, and even like just the variations of different like wrong Psy is now a thing, right? Like before that, when Dockside was around, in any world would you have said Roxai is a mid-range grind you out deck? No,
No.
never would have said that. Like, you never would have even like, everyone's like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like, people still think that, right? Like, people still think, "Why don't you just win immediately?" Like, well, I don't have to. I don't have to anymore. Like, now I have the options to do it, and I love that. Like, okay, like full disclosure, I have been looking at your Zer list, and I have been tweaking it, and I have been. I'm like, man, like, and I was just supposed. I was literally talking to them right before this, and I'm like, what if I don't want to put Necro in? What if I don't? And they're like, "That doesn't seem right." I'm like, "Maybe, but it would still work." And they're like, "Yeah, it would.
Mhm.
Like, it would still work." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, but that's an option. Like, and before you would never comprehend. Like, that was never a thing, right?
Mhm.
And so like I love looking at like especially like you guys talks about like when you're brewing decks, you guys brew a ton of decks and post stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they're just constantly looking at things. They're constantly like just what's a new way to look at these different decks? And you have these decks that like again were previously just like they're not playable anymore, dude. And I'm like, no. Like I keep getting told, like for instance, that Najila's dead. And we have a guy that plays in the locals named Ryan, and he is like kryptonite, bro. He is like that one dude where I'm like, I have a Grand Abolisher, a Silence Effect has resolved, and he's tapped out with no cards in hand, and he has one Ristic draw. I'm gonna go for a win. He's like, oh, random Kamigawa card, stop your win. Like, God, oh, come on. Like, that's like, but he runs the Gila, and he is just like, you can't sleep on him. Like, you just can't. And every time you think that, like, oh, dude, Najila just needs to swing a couple times, they're like, oh no, he just wins. Mind you. Like, I guess we lose. But people think it's dead, and it's not. You know,
Mhm.
it's just you have to put the time in. You have to put the time in.
So that is something that I find interesting. So and I did want to ask you that because I did look at your records from like Lango full priority. Like you went, I think it was 6-2-1 at Lango, 6-1-0 at full priority. What do you think? If you just had to say like if it was one thing, what was the most important thing that contributed to you just having so much success? Like not squeaking by with like tons of draws or like you like barely got in, like literally just dominating at those events. Like what was the thing that may have just been clicking that day or the things that led up to it? Like what one thing just helped you, like I said, just dominate at those events?
So I think at Lango, I started with a loss. And any tournament grinder will tell you that if you don't win your first round, you're just in it for the like you are in the slugs, you're in the pits, you're in the trenches, and like good luck. And I lost on a misplay because one guy had a blood chief ascension out, and uh there was a Grixis Pirates that brain freeze the blue farm that could have helped and win, and he milled his deck into his graveyard. And we're like, well, damn, dude, Blood Chief Ascension says you die, so I guess you die with that counter on the stack. And then we looked literally 20 minutes later and said, Blood Chief's a May. He didn't have to lose any of that life, and we could have stopped the win.
Mm,
And I'm like, that's so disappointing. And then I just kept playing, and like after that loss, I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm just gonna play my game. Like I'm just gonna play what the deck does. I'm just gonna do what the deck does. I'm gonna like trust in the deck a little bit. I've done the time. I've done the gold fishing. Let's just do stuff. And it just kind of happened to work out sometimes. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that like my skill got me through all those wins. Like it's not, dude. This game is half chess, half poker, right? Like you
Mhm.
have to get good draws. You have to get good situations. Like one of my wins at Land Go, the only reason why I won was because the dude already went to combat with my Tymna, did the Kiki Jiki line, and realized he can't win with combat. So I silenced him, realized he can't play a Goblin Bombardment, and then left his Protean Hulk in the graveyard. Like, no one makes that mistake in top levels, right? Like, and not to say that this guy's not a top player. What I'm saying is like that's a very rare mistake that he probably makes once out of 100 times.
Mhm.
And I reanimated his Protean Hulk to sack it to my Alter Dementia to get Bergie and Grandabolish to win. Like, what? Like you gotta have like that's pure luck, right? Uh, and then there are games that I went into like in like round seven stuff like that where they didn't want to draw because they can't, so you have to win.
Mhm.
And there are times where like it's like I'm playing here to win, dude. There was like the last round at pool priority. There's two guys that it's funny. The Rog Thrust that was in my round seven in Land Go was also in my round five at pool
Mm.
priority. Same situation. I'm already locked in for top 10. He's not. And
Mhm.
he needs a win. And he has to win. And uh all this stuff starts happening in the game, and it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna present a win. They said, I thought you said you were okay with drawing. So I was, but now I can win. So I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, man. Like, it do be that way. Like, Uh, and unfortunately, like he's a really nice dude, and unfortunately knocked him out of top 16, which actually means Chase got in. So like, I don't feel so bad now, like kind of thing. but like, but like when I'm going into those games, I'm not thinking about, uh, gosh, like I'm super stressed. I need to like, I'm just playing the game, man.
Mhm.
Like in my final rounds of both of those tournaments, I did not expect to be in the top 16. I wasn't even going to show up to Lango the second day.
Mm.
I had a graduation party I could have gone to, my niece's birthday I could have gone to, who like knew I was already in a tournament, so like there was no problems there. But like
Yeah.
I could have just not gone. Like I was at like 11 points, and I know I'm going into against people that are going to aim for draws, and I'm like I can't do that, and I'm like fine, I guess I'll play.
Mhm.
And then I won my first game, and then I won the second game. I was just happy to be in the top 16. And then I won the top 16. I'm like, damn, dude, like I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm getting paid. Wife's gonna be happy about that. I'm in the finals game. I don't know who NATO is at that point, by the way. So like I didn't know he's like one of the top players in the world, like in the
Mhm.
country. Like and then facing wounded twice in one day was like one of the things for me. Like I had never beaten him in a tournament. And that was like a big hump for me to get over. Especially in the finals. I'm in third seat, which is statistically my worst seat,
Mm.
against two blue farm decks and wounded. By all accounts, I should have lost that game, right? Like so, like all the statistics said I lose, but on that final turn, I'm just like, and I made some bad blunders in that game, like really bad blunders that could have cost me the game.
Mhm.
I said, you know what, man, I'm exhausted. Final fortune. If I don't win here, I'm going home. I win either way. Peace out. Like, let's go. And I ended up, and then the tainted pact that I flipped on that game. If I don't flip great, then I don't win,
Mhm.
right? So like things have to go right for you in some respect, but like if you're playing those games, just play the game, man. Like that's part of the enjoyment of like when you're playing a deck that you like, right? If you're playing a deck and your goal with that deck is like I'm just here to win and I chose this deck because it wins a lot and that's the only way I'm going to be happy, then you're not going to be doing like you're gonna have worse results in my opinion because you're solely focused on results oriented like like happiness.
Mhm.
um it's funny that you say that about like going 05 with Zur, right? It reminded me of my first time I brought Marchesa to a big tournament, and like my Marchesa tournament record is horrible. I just don't have enough reps on it, I don't think.
Mhm.
And it's also like just a hard deck to kind of figure out. But I remember I went 1, 2, and like I had like 3 or 4 ties. There's 3 or 4 draws.
Mhm.
But I came away from that tournament. I didn't place in the top 16, but I looked at that tournament and I went, honestly, I played really good Magic.
Mhm.
Like there was one game where I was able to politic and like guide two other players to where a TNT was like he had us dead to rights by turn one, man. Like he had turn one Rhystic Study. I tried to do Steel Enchantment. He countered that, had a Smothering Tide the next turn. Like by no stretch should we have ever drawn that game. But I was able to figure things out and like put my points of interaction at the right point where like the final nail in the coffin where he had to draw the game was we responded to an imprint trigger on a Chrome Mox. And a force of and like I told like the Kinnan player, like, hold your force of vigor. Just wait, just wait, just wait. Imprint trigger on the stack with Chrome Mox. Force of vigor.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh, that was the last man I needed to win the game. I guess we draw. And like I came away from that game like I played some goddamn good Magic there. Like I didn't win, but I did really like I played well.
Mhm.
And so I came away from that tournament being like I played well. And I look at the tournaments like so I look at pool priority and I look at land go. I'm like, and I'm looking at the different things that like, and I go through the games in my head. Even the games I didn't win, I played well,
Mhm.
and I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
You know, like I'm happy that that's happening. Like, and again, I'm just happy that I won as well. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that like winning is trivial. Like, no, I won a tournament, dude. Like, I'm really happy about it. Like, I never thought I would reach that point with Dargo Tymna. Like, I never thought I'd sit here and go, yeah, I won two tournaments, let alone one tournament. Like, I never thought I would get there, and now that I am, I'm like, it's because I'm just enjoying my deck, man. I'm
Mhm.
just enjoying it. So like my advice to like people like why aren't I, how do you like go through these games and no draws and stuff like that? I'm like, dude, I just play to win and I have fun doing it. That's about it, man.
Heck
Not
yeah,
much to
dude.
it.
That's so good. That's such a heck yeah. That was really good, dude. Heck yeah. So I mean, obviously, like we know the answer, but Dardu, you need Dockside.
No. In
No.
fact, I prefer it without it. Like, even if it gets like it gave us so much more leeway to do things, man. Like uh I'm so happy with where the deck's at right now. Um I doubt it every time I lose any game ever, but like I always come back to it, you know? Like I always come back. Like it just
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. So do you? So and again, just kind of like wrapping things up. I'm totally down to keep talking too. Like after we wrap everything up,
apologize.
if you want to. But
Yeah, of
is
course.
is there are there any like big? I know obviously. Congrats also on making the envy. I don't know why I didn't even say that, but
Oh,
congrats.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, besides obviously that, which that's a huge thing, do you have any like tournaments coming up pretty soon that like or anything that you're looking to like anything you're looking to do with the deck like soon? Any big events, any new decks that you're checking out? I know you obviously said you were looking at the Zer list, but like anything in particular that comes to mind?
So, Atlanta has a 10K this weekend that I wish I could go to, but like it's really short notice
Mm-hmm.
and like I've been playing a lot of tournaments and it's nearing the end of summer, so school's about to start, so I have to get ready for that. The Invitational is coming up. Um, Game night, the place where we played pool priority, I think has another tournament coming up before the Invitational, which I 99% chance will be playing in because I think it's just you know it's good tournament practice. It's a good thing to do there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to bring Dardu to that, but um, definitely definitely going to be thinking about the Invitational a lot. I've already asked like several people in my locals of like, hey, I specifically want you to like like beat me to the dust. Like I want like specifically these players that I know are like they're super responsible with mulligans. They're very high level players. Like I want you to play uh like this is a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that like the people I didn't ask are not good players, but like I trust certain people with certain styles of decks
Mm-hmm.
that I know are going to make more optimal plays than like a general Swiss match,
Yeah.
you know? And that's another thing that like going into these big tournaments that I find I find odd that people play and they're like, well, I'm practicing for Swiss rounds. Why? Like, why do you practice for not championship? Like, why does any team in the history of ever go into a practice or wrestle, go into any match, be like, you know what? I'm gonna like I'm practicing for my O2 match.
Yeah.
Like, no, bro. Like you don't expect to be there. You don't want to be there, man. Like no one sits there and goes, I'm practicing to go 7-5 this season. Like, no, you're not. Like you're practicing to win. So like I know these players have been in multiple top cuts. I know that they have the mentality of like they see things sometimes a lot better than I do. Um, and again, I'll play. I just want to get games in, kind of thing. But the Invitational is probably the next big thing, and I haven't really looked beyond that. As far as like other decks go, Zur is something I want to try out. I already have Marnia sleeved up, but like the moment you started talking about Zur, I'm like, it kind of sounds hot, like kind of like that, like
Hell
it's kind
yeah.
of. And then the moment you guys started, because Delny's like one of my favorite cards, and I was about to. You thought my rant about Trouble in Pairs was bad. Wait till you hear my rants about Delny. I'm like, if I hear any Delny slander, I will call. Like, I will straight up voice call this right now. But like, just when you guys started talking about like, oh yeah, Delny double triggering Zur, I'm like, okay. That's so hot. Like I'm already juiced about like Delny double triggering Malcolm, let alone two tutors like to the battlefield. Like, oh come on. So Zur is something I'm definitely gonna try and start looking at. Um, I have the Dargo Grixis. That is probably going to be the next Dargo deck if I want to grind on Dargo, and I'm not playing Mardu for whatever reason.
Mhm.
That would be the next deck I try with Dargo. Um, I have a Malcolm Kedis slash Malcolm Bruce list that I really like. That I haven't quite slaved up yet, but like it's ready to be slaved up.
Mhm.
I mean, I showed it to you at Pool Priority. It has Pyro of Heroes, and like I love playing stuff like Unsettled Mariner and be like, what the hell is an Unsettled Mariner? I'm like, bro, it's a pirate. Like, don't even fret. Like, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. It's changeling. It's cool. Uh, but again, like I'm really hyped on Dragonstorm right now. Like, I'm really hyped on like, ooh, this can be something. So Malcolm Kedis slash Malcolm Bruce. And then I've really been having a lot of fun with Krog Thrasios lately, and it's like Rog Thras in the sense of I have the Aboro Breeze color stuff. I have the Guy's Cradle stuff, and I don't own a Deserted Temple, but like that will go in when I have it. But it has the ability to do like the hey, I'm gonna do the Thrasios activation thing, but at the same time, it's like, oh, did I just resolve a finale of devastation with Croc on the field and it got a copy? I also win the game. Like, oh, so it can't like Rock Thrust to me is it's a good deck. So I know I'm gonna get crap for this, but like Rock Thrust is a good deck, but all I see it do is turn its wheels and it needs like 1,000 things to go well for it to actually cross the line. You know,
Mhm.
like I sit there and I see Rock Thrust, and it's like I have 30 creatures and 5 Gaia's Cradles, and I'm gonna spin Thrasios, and I still haven't won the game. It's like, oh my god, dude, just finish the game. Like, good lord. But then in Kark, it's just like I'm just actually just trying to recast my spells multiple times. All I use with my mana is like recasting my spells. That's all I want to do. And then as long as I can do that, I'm good. You know, like if I get Kark out with a Harmonic Prodigy, like is that something you should probably worry about? Yeah. But also you should probably worry about me just having 20 mana, like in general. Like that's something you should probably worry about. And then I've been doing well. Like that deck's been feeling really fun. It's actually funny that you mentioned earlier about like Celestial Winter, right? Like I play with those guys almost every day, and that's been a lot of fun too because like they're mostly control players. So it's a Rogthras, a Y'shtola. I see every so often a Ariange, which is that Azorius like exile to tap things, but like it's super interesting. I see a lot of like there's Loomer in that pod, uh, but they all do really well with like every time I go for a win, it's never 100% safe until for sure it is. You know, like I'm always starting to do things, and then they're like in response. I'm like, bro, how do you have another piece? You know, but like that prepares you for tournaments, right? Like I'm gonna be playing in an invitation where like these are no player in this invitational is bad,
Mhm.
right? And, like you're gonna go in there. They're not gonna be dumb. They're not gonna make mistakes of like, oh, what does Relic and Yawgmoth do? I guess they both resolve. Like no one's gonna do that.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, they barely do it now. So, and you have to play players that you know are going to be responsible and you know you're going to give you that experience, like top cuts.
Mhm.
Because every round in the invitation is going to be a top cut.
Yeah. No, seriously, that's literally what I was just thinking. I was like, every game in that is basically a top four anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how it felt when I played last year in the Invitational. Like every single round was grueling mentally. It was like every round was everyone knows what they're doing. They're responsible. They're safe. I just think that as well. Like talking about like the wins with like the last two tournaments with the whole like 20 minutes after prime time it's done like draws. People are actually now like they're pushing for wins now.
Yeah.
Like yeah, they get their advantages out, but like people push for wins. Like that's what you need to do,
Mm.
and that's what this deck does. And I'm just very happy that you know I get to practice with the deck and play with players that are, you know, will help me out in those situations.
Heck yeah, dude. Brother, that's awesome, man. Yeah, obviously I'm rooting for you. I hope you do well. It
Oh,
sucks
I
because
appreciate it, man.
I've got so many friends that are gonna like make it into the or they've made it into the MV. So I'm like I'm rooting
Mhm.
for all these people, and so I'm just like I'm rooting for all y'all. Y'all, I mean, obviously y'all will do your thing, but
I
I've got a
appreciate
lot.
it, man.
Yeah, but heck yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, like, oh, dude, like, I was super excited for Chase when he made top 16 at pool priority, right? Like, I'm
Mm,
I'm super happy that he did well. Like, I was bummed that you weren't in the top 16, but like, I know you missed it by like that much, right? Like, you were like one win away,
mm,
and like, I love seeing my friends in top cuts. Like, I had the two game night tournaments before pool priority. It was literally like a spell table pod from like our locals. Like, that was the four. It
mm-hmm.
was like, oh, we all play each other all the time. Like, this is great. But like, I could be friends and root for you. Like I like again, like I talked to Max P a lot and like love that dude. Like such a good dude. Um like mature presence in CDH. Like I love talking to him. Spooky I mentioned earlier, like he is such a fun dude to just be around. But like the moment they get to a game, I'm not your friend.
Yep.
Like I'm not. Like I've told people like when I was in wrestling, when I was in high school, like they would be like, "Aren't you friends with that dude?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like then why did you like beat his face into the ground? I'm like, "Well, I was trying to win." Like Like, I'm not gonna sit there and not win, like, like, sorry, but, like, yeah, but, like, after matches and stuff like that, like, I love and that's another thing about CDH that I love is that, like, you get these guys and you're playing a game and it gets like, I need that competitive itch scratched,
Mm,
and people are there to win. Afterwards, cool, chummy, great,
mm-hmm.
love it, and I root for them, like, if I'm not in the top 16, I will root for those guys, I'll cheer for them, like, I want them to do well, but if I'm in a game with you, I hope you get nothing. I hope you draw only lands, no gas, and I hope you like rip a sleeve while you're at it. Like I don't care, like like I'm not there. I'm not there for chumminess. I'm there for wins, and
That's
like we'll chummy afterwards.
It's so funny because I feel like CDH is finally like one of the spaces where I've been able to like flip that switch. Like in competition and other places, dude, my coach used to get so mad at me. Even my jujitsu coach gets so mad at me because we'll go and compete in places and like you're trying to obviously like submit this player. You're trying to hurt them enough, like just bad enough to where like they tap, but like without obviously like
Yeah,
hurting somebody. And I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
literally,
yeah.
like I'll take somebody down and like land on them wrong and be like mid match, like mid roll, be like, oh sorry, and my coach would be like, "There's no way you just said sorry in a competition." I mean, I'll still
I'm
try to like,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'll still try to finish them. Like you'd be like choking somebody, but you accidentally like smash their face or something. You're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then you're like still strangling them. But I'm just like, man, it is so funny. But in CDH, I feel like it's one of those spaces where I don't know, like because I don't know if I don't know if this is part of the reason, but I feel like because everybody's obviously coming in, like you said, they're coming in with that mentality they want to win. Obviously, competition's the same way, but it does feel like it's something about like the expectation. Like sometimes you can get into stuff and really not know like what you're getting into, but I feel like people when they hear CDH, like they understand, hey, this is like the highest power of what we can do here in Commander. And so I feel like
Mhm.
if you are here playing CDH, you either know like you've fully consented to like this is what we're doing, this is what's happening, or you just accidentally showed up to the wrong event. But even then, I'm sorry if you showed up to the wrong event. Like I'm here to win. But
You know, it's funny that you say that because like I used to play with this group back in California where I lived, and I would have like legitimate arguments with this dude because I would be playing the casual game and I'm like, "You're just not making the optimal play."
mm,
And he's like, "I don't care." and it would drive me up the freaking wall because he's like, because then he would then complain about like this or that. This, I'm like, dude, if you're like, let me explain why this is the route. Boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
And then he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like I don't think you're right. I'm like, well, you lost, so like I am right.
Mhm.
And then I get to CDH, and I'm like, no, everyone's on the same page here. Of like, they're not just making play. If they are making plays that are suboptimal, like I'm not saying it doesn't happen,
Mhm.
but they're not. A lot of times, they're not intentionally doing it. Like you're
Yeah.
not intentionally just. I'm going to counter this guy's thing because you know what? 2 games ago, he stopped me. Like, who cares, dude? We're trying
Mhm.
to win. Like, even like the casual, like again, there's cEDH and tEDH, right? Like
Mhm.
tEDH, definitely the one thing that will like maybe go from like 0 to 100 is you're not making optimal plays. You know you're not making optimal plays, and you don't care. Like,
Mhm.
there's prizes on the line here. There's reputations on the line. Like, we're here, paid to be here, or took time to be here. We're trying to win games. Like we're
Mhm.
trying to do this. If we're just playing CDH and we're just screwing around at like at tables and you're not practicing for a tournament and you're like, I'm trying to do this. Like, okay, like you're trying to do something. Whatever. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't care. Like in a tournament, like if you're not even like there's some plays that happened recently where I'm like, did you even think about what was going to happen if you did this? Or did you even want to politic this play at all? Um, you knew what was in this other guy's hand. Like you knew Win was on board,
Mhm.
and you still did XYZ without even talking to me.
Mhm.
Like just talk to me, and that's what gets me upset. Like I'll be even keel until someone like blatantly goes out of their way to be like, you're trying to be suboptimal. Like okay, that's not. And then that's where I went from like casual. And when I started doing CDH, I left casual behind. Like I just was like, I can't. Every time I would dip my toe back into it, I'm like, oh my god, this is why I don't play this anymore. Like
Mhm.
I was playing. I remember playing one time at a local store, and I was like, they're like, hey, you're not in a pod. These players are playing casual. Want to play? I'm like, sure. I have a Naeth deck that's like, I mean, if you did a power scaling right now, it'd probably be a 2 because I don't run any tutors
Yeah.
like at all. So I'm like, it's Naeth. It just goes, I fight things and I big stompy creatures like
Yeah.
rah. And I had like 2 things on the board, and then this angel deck was like flooding the board and pointed removal at me, pointed removal at me, pointed removal at me. I'm like, uh, okay, like I think I'm just gonna go. And they're like, oh, why? I'm like, because we're just not trying. Like we're not playing. Like I can understand if you guys all know each other and like I'm the guy that you don't know, but like if you're just making moves just to make moves and like prevent me from playing the game, like I'm not gonna be here. Like
Yeah.
there's no purpose to that.
Yeah.
So like in CDH you just don't have that. Like
Mhm.
not nearly as much. Like you said, like there's an expectation. Like playing CDH, okay, so that means I'm gonna be playing high level play. Like there's gonna be optimized decks. The gameplay should be tighter. Like we know the rules for the most part. We know the rules, and we're trying to win.
Mhm.
I'm down with that. Like
Mhm.
it just feels better mentally going into stuff like that, you know?
Well, and what's so funny is that I feel like I've seen less. I guess I always say the term like crash out moments. Like I don't think I've seen. I don't know if I've seen really any. Maybe one or two. Like like in some like odd scenario, but like crash out moment like in a CDH table. But like everybody just kind of knows like hey like. And again, I'm not hating on casual. Like I can understand if somebody doesn't want to, and I know you're
Yeah.
not either. Like it's just one of those things where like I can understand if somebody wants to play at like the highest level, and then they're just like, hey, I just built this super janky deck because I think the commander looks cool. I know it's probably not anywhere near good for like high power CDH. I just really like zombies or whatever. I wanted to throw this together, and like I can respect that, but it's so
Yeah.
crazy because I would think that because of all the money on the line, all the investment that we make into our decks, all the time we invest into literally this one commander or this one deck or whatever we're doing to like get really good, become really efficient. You would think people would be so connected to the deck and to the outcome and everything that if they lost, they would just be like, oh. And you hear all these like horror stories about like CDH players being like sweaty, grind, like just bad, like they're just
Mhm.
they're mean, they're whatever, and it's like oh they're just
Mhm.
pub stomping, And I always feel like that's never the case. Like people that truly play CDH, that's never the case. And now it can be for like I'm not gonna say never, but it's almost never the case. Like it to me, I feel like the people that are really like pub stomping, it's the guy that like shows up with like sure he has like an infinite in his deck and he's probably playing like four, like a high power, like a four deck, and he shows up to
Mm-hmm.
a table of like twos or ones or and then like stomps them. Like I've had so many moments where like I'm just playing in a casual game, people are like blatantly lying to each other's faces. They're making suboptimal plays. Something happens. A guy like swings a win when this other player like pretty much had it locked up, or like this person was like they technically had a win, and then like then the argument becomes of like, oh well, I was just wanting my deck to like do the thing, and it's like, well, what happens if your deck does the thing? And that's like always my favorite question to pose. It'd be like, what would happen if your deck did the thing? And they're like, well, I would have won. And it's like I understand that, and that's the problem is because I also want to win. Like if your deck is like,
Right.
hey, I mill half your graveyard or half your deck, I'm fine with that. I can let that happen. But if your thing is like, oh, I do infinite kiki jiki and I swing out and I win the game, it's like, sorry, can't let you do that. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Like,
I have, I've,
it's so funny because like I really feel like like you said, the reputation of CDH from the casual perspective is like, because I had this thought too. I was like, oh my gosh, like all they do want to do is just combo by turn two. And the more I actually played CDH, the more I'm like, this is the opposite of what they want. In fact, some of the players that I think actually care about the game the most, that care about playing good quality Magic, that's who I see in CDH,
mhm,
and that's what I want to be. Like, there's so many times where people are like, "Oh, you're just a CDH player. You just want to win by turn two." Actually, I don't. Like, I
yeah,
actually rarely ever want to. Like, I actually don't like. They're like, "You just want to play Thassa's Oracle." I actually don't. Like, that's the opposite of what I want. You know. And like, I had a buddy who was like, I kept trying to get him into CDH here. It's just a lost cause to get him into it. And
yeah,
he's like, "Well, I wanted to play Urabrask as a deck, and I was told I couldn't." I'm like, "Who told you that?" They said this other person. I'm like, "Well, they don't play tournaments and they don't play CDH.
mm,
Who says you can't?" Like, is it the absolute optimal best thing to play mono red Urabrask in CDH? No, but is it viable? Yes.
mm,
And then that deck placed in a tournament. I think you guys covered it, and I was like, oh, I sent it to him like, "See? People play what they want, man. Like, no one cares." Like I've seen more people be receptive in CDH to like, "What are you trying to do with your deck?" Okay, I see what you want to do with your deck.
mhm,
Let's see if we can make it a CDH deck,
mhm.
as opposed to these casual decks where it's like, "Well, was I able to stacks you out and take your firstborn and all these things? Like, why didn't you let me just do it?" I'm like, what do you mean? Why didn't I just let you do it? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, and then if I hear one more game of like, oh my gosh, Kellen's starting to do his like synergy combos. It's turn 15. You didn't throw one piece of removal at me. What do you want from me? Like it's Reki. Like it's like it's mono green Reki. Like I'm sorry. Like I can't help it. Like
Dude.
oh my god,
Well,
man.
it's crazy because this I had this happen. This is actually the thing that got me to like finally commit to like take like I'm gonna play CDH because I had it wasn't like fully CDH, like I didn't know about proxies and all that stuff at that point, so it was
Yeah,
just I had
yeah,
Zer and I had like what I could put in it, and
sure.
I went to go. We literally had set a day. We were like, hey, I'm going to like I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna play. Like me and several of my buddies, we had set down a day. We were gonna go meet at a game exchange and we were just gonna play Magic like all day. We are just playing casual. And so again, like I loved partners, so I showed up with like a Hydra deck that was um, it
Hell
was
yeah.
Rayhan and Vial Smasher, and so the whole strategy
Let's
for the deck
go.
was like I'm moving counters around and I'm casting big hydras, and Vial Smasher just says it's random. Like it's totally random.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that's so fun.
And
That's
so
so fun.
so I'm like, that's all I'm doing. I'm just big stompy and I'm dealing like some like splash damage while I'm at it. And so I'm sitting there, I'm playing the deck. I sat down and keep in mind we had blocked out a whole day. So I had no plans for the whole day. I sat down and I remember the first time that I did it and like Vial Smasher just hits one of my buddies at random. This dude just full crash out, like gets up, starts yelling at me. And I'm like, and I love him to death. Like he's still one of my best friends. He probably was just having a bad day. I get it. Like I'm not condoning the
Oh
behavior,
yeah,
but like I get it. People, we all
yeah,
have our
yeah,
moments.
yeah.
And so you never know what people are going through. But he just like full crash out. And I was like, I was like, I think I'm just gonna go play it at like we have a hobby town here in Bowling Green where we play it. It's like I'm just gonna go hobby town, and they were like, you're not gonna play, and I was like, nah, I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm fine. And so I picked all my
Yeah,
stuff up. I just happened to have. I don't think I had Zer with me either. Like I just went to hobby town. I was like, I'm just gonna see if I can get some casual games in here, and there were just three guys playing in like a 3-person pod. And they were like, "Hey man, like, do you wanna hop in?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All I've got's casual." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're playing cEDH." And I was like, "Oh," like, and then I basically said, I was like, "Isn't that like real, like, just kind of like sweaty? Like everybody just gets like real, you know?" I just like had this aggressive thing. I was like, "I don't want to do that." And
yeah,
he just was like,
right.
"Dude, no, like you're fine here. Like I have a Pantlaza deck, play that." And I'm like, "Okay." And I just was like, okay, cool. Like I'd been watching Play to Win for a bit, so I was like, I think I can. Like I know some of the combos. Like I can make this work. And I just won.
Yeah.
I just won the game. It was like my very first time with it. I won. I was like, dude, that was so fun. And then I immediately like I went home, got Zer, came back, just started playing. And after that, dude,
Oh yeah.
I never looked back. And I still will play casual every once in a while with like some friends. But like after that, dude, the bug bit me, and I've just been full send cEDH since then.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I mean, it's so funny that you say that. It's like it, but people have this like stigma of like CDH, and then they actually do CDH. And like, I had a friend back in California, like he he was a good player when we played casual, but like he always said like CDH is dumb. Like
mm,
the whole concept of it is dumb. And I'm like, well, I invest a lot of time and money into this. Like, not as much as some, but like
mm-hmm,
I still play and I spend time. Like, why not be why not do it just more efficiently and more like why not? Like why not be good at it?
mm-hmm.
I remember like coming to it was one of my last days ever in California for like playing with these guys. And I brought in the Heb Dreadhorde Champion. And do you know what that card does?
Nahib. I,
So
I don't think so.
so it's a 4/3/4 drop where when it swings, discard your hand, draw that many cards, and you get red mana equal to the amount of cards you discarded.
Okay.
So the whole deck was swing with Naheb, and he has trample. Swing with the Heb, connect, try and dig until you find Underworld Breach, and loop extra combats. And I did that, and he had this like burn mono red deck, and it had Chrome Mox, it had all the fast mana and all this stuff. And I'm just like, herp derp, Underworld Breach, like, hooray. And he got so salty about it. I'm like, why? Like, why? Like, isn't this like, wasn't that a fun synergy to find out? Like, I just know about this until that I tried it and it was fun, right? He's like,
Mm-hmm,
no. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And like, when I get to CDH, like, people celebrate those weird things. And they'd be like, "Oh, dude, that's cool. You could have done that faster if you did this, this, and this." I'm like, "Oh, like actually, we care about like you're celebrating it. Like that's
mm-hmm.
great. Like I love that." And then you get those like it was never a CDH check that I made, but like it's stuff like that where you you find that cool synergy and you do these cool lines, and you're like, "Oh, like Magic's the most complicated game in the world, and you're able to find things that work like that. That's fun. That's a cool thing to feel, you know." I don't want to be chastised for that, you know.
Well, and the thing it's such a nice feeling whenever you have somebody that like they have that misconception and they make that like they finally have that like I don't want to say like awakening moment, but like they just like that moment of clarity, like
And
oh, because like the same guy, the one that I was talking about, where like again like the guy that kind of pushed me into CH, the crash out moment, like again love him to death. Well, he came over and we were actually like recording a gameplay like for the channel at that point. So me and Chase were playing, and we had two of our other buddies that play cEDH pretty often, and uh he Chase, I think like right after that he had something else that he had to do, so like I was going to get some casual games in with them, and our other friends were there, they were going to have to leave after that. And we anytime we play on camera, we always will set a timer like in person. So we set like an 80-minute timer and we just like hit go, so we treat it like there are times where like some of our gameplays literally end in a draw because we ran out of time, and we're like it's fine, like it's no not other there's not a lot of other channels that are doing that, and it does feel weird to like end in a draw, but it's just like like this is what it would be like in a tournament setting. So
sure,
we just threw the timer on, and like they come in and they see us like wrapping this game up, and they're like, what's happening? I'm like, well, we're resolving this stack. And they're like, oh, okay. uh and then like Chase's phone is going off, and they're like, what's the timer? And I was like, oh, we just like we passed 80 minutes. Like we're just and then my buddy was like, 80 minutes? He was like, I thought this ends in like turn two. And I was like, no, dude, like we still aren't even done. Like we have to resolve this and then we like if there's no winner at the end of this, then it's a like it's a draw. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? And like and then so we actually got him to sit down and play cEDH with us that day because Chase was like, I can stay for a game. And he just happened to play. And now he'll come over every once in a while and he'll just play cEDH every once in a while. He still mainly plays casual, but like
Mhm.
it was like this moment where he was like, oh, it's not like what all the Reddit posters and everybody else just like says it is.
Yeah, it's funny because like a lot of the people that I used to play with locally around me in Murfreesboro is like they just refuse to play CDH, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Do you like doing this stuff with your deck?" They're like, "Yeah." "Do you like it when your deck does its thing?" Like, "Yeah." "What if you could just do that faster?" Like don't change anything, just make it faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like then you have a CDH deck, and they're like, "No, no." I'm like, I mean, that's really all it is, man. Like we've seen some weird crap in CDH, right? Like shoot again, we have a 7 mana pirate giant that does loops in CDH. Like when you're like you could do things in CDH that like they're just what casual players would do, but they just do it more efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I'll tell them I'm like, notice how it took you 6 turns to set up your win? What if you could just do that in two?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same combo, exactly the same cards. Instead of your mana being a basic land, and a 3 mana rock, and then this, it's just a 0 mana rock, and then a 1 mana rock, and now you're doing it turn two.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to do it turn two. It doesn't have to be that fast, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do it that fast.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's to me where like this level of like the casual and the CDH is like they think or a lot of people in casual think that it's just one thing or it's not like yes we do the Thoracle things, we do the turn two wins, we do all those things, and those are things that happen,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but really a lot of people it's like I just want to do like I think zombies are cool or like my buddy who played Yawgmoth at pool priority, he plays Shorakai and like he's always had these like really different decks and it's like
Mm-hmm.
he just looks at a deck he's like that's cool, I'm gonna play that, and he's just really good at everything so like he just does well, but like it's same way a casual player would look at that. Like when you guys posted that thing about Grenzo Dungeon Warden in that European tournament, I'm like, bro, I'm in. I'm like, I love
Yes.
Grenzo. Like I already have a casual deck that does that. I literally have Grenzo as a casual deck. All I have to do is switch out like this many cards, and I can not even make their list, but just my list faster,
Mm-hmm.
and it would still work. Dope. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here for it. Like I'll do it. Like uh, people don't realize that you can do what you want to do within the context of a higher, more efficient play.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think Dylan from Play to Win, I think it was him that I heard say this, but I feel like like people think that it just gets boring. They're like, how does it not get boring? Like you just keep seeing, like you just do the same combo over and over and over and over. But it's I don't feel like it's ever the combo. Like that's not the point of the story that you're telling. It's how did we get to that point? It's what all happened to finally like get that win. It's like again, like there was a big stack war, or oh I stopped this, like this guy was going for a win and I stopped it and I was able to get to my turn and I like there's all this context to it. So it's just such a like even though we add a lot of tutors and the mana and like fast mana and like we speed it up a little bit and we add some more consistency, there's so much variance even with all the consistency and everything else. So like no game's the same. Like sometimes you do just have it on turn two. You just look and you go, oh, I've got it, and you get it. But then for every one of those games, there's also one that's like you're trying to resolve like you're trying to resolve this silence effect and you're like, oh, and there's this huge fight happening over it, and you're like, just let me win.
Oh yeah, like I can't tell you how many times like I had a game down to Alabama and played with some people from I think Second Seven is their name,
Mm,
their channel name. Really nice people. Uh, and we were playing just a game. I'm like, okay, silence on the stack, countered. GA on the stack, countered. Voice of Victory on the stack, countered. Okay, mm, like Pyroblast the counter. Okay, like do all this stuff. Like everyone has depleted their hands, and I have like one card in. Cool. I'm like, all right. Anyways, so Pierce to the Abyss, and they're like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like it's just so fun. Like you get these interactions and stack, like and push and push and push, and finally, and then it resolves. Like like yes, the combo was top for 7 mana and win with Peer into the Abyss. But like to get to that point where like I had to know which ones to play first. I had to know that my windows are here, or I have to tutor this first. Like that was what made it really fun. Like
Mhm.
I think it more like when people watch NASCAR, right? They're just driving around in a circle. Well, yeah, if you break it down like that, like yeah, it's boring. But like it's wildly popular for a reason, right? Like it's not just that,
Yeah.
and even if it is the same patterns, like why do people watch sports? It's just throwing a ball into a basket, right? It's just running a football. It's just kicking a ball into a net. But like, why do you do it? Because people are really good at it and they're skillful, and you watch their skill at it, and then you play other people who are also skilled at stopping them from doing that, and that's what makes it fun. Like it's the same reason why people do any video game or any sport. Like yes, if you just break it down to its very basics and then boil it down to you're just trying to do this, everything sounds boring then. Like
Yep.
everything does.
No, I definitely agree. It's the it I don't know. It's just the that's what we're all like. That's what we want. Like it is nice, obviously. Like if a win comes easy every once in a while, but like we just like fighting through adversity. I think everybody wants that story. That's the fun of it, dude.
No,
The format's just so fun.
no one likes a story where you're like, oh man, I was born with $1 billion and I have money now. Or are you more impressed and happy with the story that like I worked my way to a point? You know,
Hmm.
like no one likes us. No one wants to watch the movie of someone who had it easy the entire time and then ended in a good way.
Yeah.
They want to see the comeback story. They want to see the struggle. They want to see that.
Mm. No, I 100% agree with that, brother. Heck yeah.
Uh,
Well, man, I really appreciate you. Obviously, I know I've talked your head off the whole time, but I've enjoyed the
Oh no,
conversation,
dude.
brother.
Yeah, dude, I really enjoyed having a talk. Like, I hope we get to just talk again. Like, even if it's not for recording, like just in general, get to talk.
Oh yeah.
I do see that my wife behind me is like, "What the hell are you doing up here still?" Like, so I do have to go take care of that. But I
Well,
really appreciate you having me on, man, and talk about my favorite deck. Like again, if you had me on, like, hey, dude, let's just do mulligans, like for like a half hour. Like, I'd be happy doing that.
heck
I'm
yeah.
just happy I get to talk about this and to talk with someone who's just a really chill dude. Like, I'm just really thankful for that.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Is there any
Yeah.
last like I know like obviously you got to go. Is there any like last second things you want to plug? Any people you want to say thanks to? Anything like that?
I mean, like, I feel like it's like the Oscars. Like, I like to thank the Academy.
Yeah,
No, I like specifically, I want to thank uh, my wife for being supportive of me doing this stuff. I mean,
absolutely.
she absolutely despises it and has nothing to do with it, but she tolerates me being really excited about it and she supports me doing it. I really want to thank people that I play with and have interacted with, especially my local guys and people that I play with. Um, they're what make continuing to play this game so worth it. And people like you in the community that are just positive influences of putting out content that I can constantly watch. That I'm like, I could just keep feeding that beast, of all that content. I love what you guys are doing. And I like a lot of other content creators out there that are just, again, trying to make a positive community. I'm just really thankful that we have that.
Heck yeah, brother. Well, I always end the videos with the same thing just because like I feel like it like I wish that somebody would have told me this, but we always say like if you're not already like go play some CDH. I really wish somebody would have just told me that because this community is just so amazing. So like if you're not already go play some CDH.
Go play some CDH, man. It's fun.
Brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for like I said, I know I took up a lot of your time and I'm sorry if I get you
Ah,
in trouble with the
no, 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 no. You're good. You're good. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you like being willing to talk to me about this stuff.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Like I said, I love to talk. I feel bad for Chase because I don't think he's a talker, but he's nowhere near as much of a talker as me. So like,
Oh, that's okay. Next time when Chase comes on, I'll explain to him why playing only meta decks is like not fun, and we'll just berate him the whole time. It's fine.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's so good. Brother, I'll let you go, but I do appreciate you, man. I look forward to. We're gonna have to
Uh,
get some games in at some point. I gotta see your Dardu in action because I haven't got to play against it yet.
oh, dude, I play spell table almost every night. So like anytime you want to hop on, you just hit me up.
I got you. I've literally, this is no joke. I've never used Spell Table, so I've got to figure it out. And then once I get it figured,
Oh yeah, it's super easy to use, super easy to do. You could use it with Mox Field, so like you could do
okay.
different decks too. So like yeah, dude, anytime you want to like hop on and be like, hey, show me how to do this, and let's get some games in. Like I'm down.
Heck yeah, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you. See you around.
See you, brother.